Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Baroda Podcast. I'm very excited about this next individual. We've been trying to set this up for a few months now. We work together. We've known each other for it might be 8, 9, 10 years. But the conversation we had was a lot of fun. He's an aspiring comedian. He just recently started doing stand-up. Going to open mics and hitting as many clubs as he can. Without further ado, let's get into today's episode and let's talk to the upcoming comedian, Mr. Chris Morgan.
You're just funny. It's the way you tell the story and everything.
Funny how?
Come here though. Yeah, he's crazy, see? Who are you?
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Are you ready?
We'll be live in 3, 2, and 1. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chris Morgan. What's up, bud?
What's going on, man?
Everything, man. Everything.
This is beautiful, dude.
Thank you, man.
You've done a good job.
I appreciate it. Yeah, and, we were talking a little bit before we started, but it's mainly because of the wife.
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
Yeah, as we're saying, it's having the that backing, that partner, that
It's huge.
dude, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You talk about it, or you hear about it sometimes. And I was married before, really young.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How young did you get married?
I think I was 22 when we actually got married, and it was just the courthouse because we had the baby on the way,
Right.
And maybe we just had the baby, but I was 21 when my son was born,
Right.
and so I did it, and it was fucking terrible. It was so bad.
Yeah.
And I got my son out of it, which was nice, and I had custody most of his life.
That's good.
But now, being married, and it's, like we said, a partner.
Way different.
It really is. They got your back, you got theirs. It's you can just you get a lot more done. As a man, I know at least for me, we talked about it before. I'm lazy by nature. The things I do, or things that motivated me, a lot of times have very little to do with me or my well-being, and more to do with, before it was my son,
Right.
and providing a life, for him that was different than what I had. And now it's my family, when you're feeling
Yeah, that's the big motivation now.
yeah, I don't know if I can get up today, or I don't know if I can do this, or I don't want to make that one more call. And you just walk it. For me, it's fortunate because my office is right in our garage, and
Right.
I can open the door and see my 6-month-old smile at me every time he sees me in the face. I'm all right, I gotta get to work.
That's huge, man. So now you got
motivation.
Yeah, now you got the little one. So now it's kind of you're a little bit more settled now.
Yeah, it's such a different experience, man.
Totally different experience.
My first son being 21, I was in the business.
Oh yeah.
Knocking on doors, commission only.
Oof.
And the good majority of that time, I had to have a nanny. So
Yeah.
there's a certain amount of money I had to make.
Sure.
So I could even go in the field. So it was it was really, I enjoyed it then even. I remember being not scared of being a dad. I always wanted to be a dad.
Yeah.
Even at that young age, I was we're doing this.
Yeah.
But you're always I was diapers, formula, everything was so expensive, and I just couldn't, it was just every time you turn around, it was this other expense, and
you're on commission, so it was
yeah, and it's so you just don't get to enjoy. I didn't enjoy it as much.
Yeah.
As great as it was, and all those things, my oldest son and I have a relationship that'll be different than anything, Finn, my baby, and I will have.
Yeah. And how old is X?
Xavier's 15,
Yeah.
He's 15. He just finished, yesterday was the last day of his freshman year. Fuck, I know, right?
That's a weird age, bro.
You've known him since he was your size. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Well,
That's fucked
I mean,
up.
I haven't changed sizes, but
That's fucked up. I didn't have to take that punch. Man.
it's
I'm
almost
sorry.
like you set that up. Yeah.
Yeah, I really did.
You had an hour and a half drive to think about that.
Let's check that one off the
Yeah,
list.
there you go. We're good. But yeah, that's crazy, man. 15 is wild.
Yeah, it's nuts, man.
Is there anything you're noticing, as you're raising him? Because you probably see a lot of similarities.
Actually, I'm fortunate in the I don't see a lot of similarities, except one that's been kind of glaring recently is
Right.
My son's not lazy. He does his homework. He does what he's supposed to do. He gets good grades. He loves basketball. He works really hard at it. But if it doesn't interest him,
He's not doing it.
yeah, man, and it's getting frustrating. But it's also like, that's me. But other than that, I've tried to like be self-aware in terms of what my problems are and what I like struggled at,
Right.
and try to get better at those and take like help him learn not to do those things, right? So that way, when you get to that certain age, life is just a little easier because you're accustomed to these certain habits that you need to have for life.
Right. Well, especially that age or so, you're getting all this fucking information left and right. I mean, you don't
It's
know if it's
crazy.
good or bad, or it's different than when we were 15. Because when we were 15, it was like, okay, so we had friends and family, yeah, kind of, but our friends would just go outside and hit sticks and pretend like we're fucking cowboys and Indians. But now it's like you whip out your phone and you got kids on Twitter now at 15 and 12, and it's just fucking a lot of information
It's
coming at you.
It's information overload, and it creates a different experience, right? Like when I was a kid, I was like a habitual liar, like all the time. It was
Constant.
bad. Yeah, it was pretty bad. And I say kid, like really to like mid-20s. And they no one call you on your bluff back in the day.
Right.
It was like, I gotta take your word. You're like, I don't know. Am I lying or am I? You never know, I guess.
Yeah.
Now it's like,
Fact check.
you're a fucking liar. Look, I can see it. So I've always tried to be with my son like super, super honest, and in doing that, it created an openness now that we have, especially at this age. Like you're saying, he gets all kinds of information. Like,
Yeah.
excuse me. We talked about it, kind of before. I'm an advocate for marijuana, for medical marijuana across the board. I just also think it's fun.
Yeah, totally.
But I've been, extremely honest with my son. Like it helps me. There is some benefit it has for me. Like I developed anxiety as we got older. We talked about it. Like it just killed me.
Yeah.
So I was prescribed Xanax, which is impossible for me to function on.
Right. Well, anybody really. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at least to remember. I mean, you can do things, but you just don't know what you did. Just rolling the dice. You're like, oh, this was okay.
Yeah. Thank God there's social media now where it tracks
Yeah.
everything you do.
Yeah, word, like my wife wasn't a big fan of me smoking, but I was always open with her about it when we first met and kind of told her. And when I moved up to Orlando to be with her, I was like, oh, let me give it a shot, quitting. So I tried to take the Xanax and kind of get in that habit. And dude, it was like day 2, and she woke up getting ready for work in the morning, and I was still working for Groupon at the time, so I was working from home. And she walks downstairs. I'm just in my underwear on the couch, like sprawled out with like an open ice cream container and a bunch of other shit. And I got no answers for her. I'm just like, this is why I smoke weed.
Right.
And it was like from that point, she was like, I don't like it, but it's better than this. Like, okay.
Yeah, dude.
But
and it's like that with everybody. Like, I mean, I experimented too a lot, but it's just it's like daytime Ambien or Ambien. That's kind of what it's like.
Yeah.
I mean, you black out. You don't know what the fuck's going on. It's super, super dangerous.
It really is, man. And they don't really prepare you for that either.
No.
When they prescribe it, you're like, here you go.
It's for anxiety.
Yeah. And you're like, sweet. I mean, the anxiety's gone, but so is like 3.5 hours of your life that you can't remember anymore. Just like, I don't know if I like that.
And who knows the long-term side effects? I mean, you don't even know, what it is.
Dude, it's bad. Like, I don't want to get on my high horse, though, because it's the same thing with Adderall.
Sure.
And I'm prescribed that, and I take the shit out of it. So
yeah, of course.
Long-term effects of meth probably aren't great either.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
That's what it is, yeah.
you just pick and choose your vices, I guess.
Yeah. Well, there was, I forget what comedian had a joke, but damn, I'm going to butcher it, so I'm not even going to say it, but he was essentially saying, so the person who invented Adderall just took cocaine and just made it better.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, it's
insane. Yeah.
Growing up in Oregon,
Right.
I tried meth before I ever tried coke.
No shit.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I don't even know if there's coke there now.
Right.
Probably, but
Yeah.
but meth was pretty available. Like, it wasn't
Like
hard
you
to
just
find.
get it.
Yeah, it's like the first time I did it, my buddy we went to his friend's house, and I hadn't seen him. I had just moved back from California not too long ago, and he was like a friend from literally from first grade all the way through. And so I see smoking. I'm like, this is fine. What's like, Mike's not going to set me astray. Like,
Right.
I don't smoke weed all the time, but it's cool. So I see everybody go through, and I'm like, I've never seen anybody smoke weed on tinfoil. This is weird. But I was weirdly naive, which
Right.
didn't make much sense because I shouldn't have been.
Right.
And it gets to me, and it's like, I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure this isn't weed at this point, but I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, still, like, I don't think Mike's gonna screw me here. Like, let's try this.
And
So-
why is his name always Mike? By the way, like your friend, that is that guy.
Dude, this because he's real.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's real life, isn't it?
Because I have a friend named Steve but I always call him Mike for some reason. Like I don't know,
funny.
Mike's just the name.
I use Steve.
You use
my
Steve?
name. I
That's
swear to
crazy.
God. We used me and my best friend. We built a beer bong for our senior trip, and we named it Steve.
That is awesome.
Yeah, Steve was fucking people up.
Of course he was.
Um,
So yeah, Oregon.
yeah, it just fuck. I completely lost.
Well, Mike wouldn't fuck you over.
Oh yeah. So they're holding the tinfoil,
Right.
and they start lighting, and they're like, they give me like a Bic pen emptied out and cut in half.
Oh, that's sterile.
Yeah, it seemed fair. So I guess maybe not any worse than like doing a line of cocaine with a $1 bill.
Yeah, that's true.
Um,
Unless
And
it's
I'm-
from a strip club. That's
Yeah.
That's when it's fun.
yeah, those are the best kind. Like, why do I have pink eye from $1?
And it's in my mouth.
I don't know how I got there. I have no idea. Honey, what was I supposed to do? She put her ass in my face. Like, I don't want to be rude.
That's why I'm there.
Yeah, God. So so I take the pen and I'm breathing in, smoking, and like I've only smoked one. Like at this point, I never even smoked a cigarette. I just smoked weed,
Right.
and so that's all I know how to smoke. But as I'm smoking it, like they see me kind of with that smoking weed mentality, and they're like, "No, don't hold it in. Like it'll crystallize your lungs." I'm like, what the fuck is this, man? He was like, "Oh, dude, that's because we didn't call it meth. It was crank.
Right.
That's what it was."
Which is still way cooler of a name.
Yeah, I think so
Yeah.
too. They didn't even have a movie after that. So
Yeah.
what's meth got?
It's a great movie.
And my buddy's like, I was like, what, dude?
What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing to me? And then all of a sudden, bro, my leg's just like bouncing at like 100 miles a minute. And then
So
we're
it's essentially just a ramped up smoking version of like crack, coke. I mean, it's like, what's the feeling?
it's like, when if you do coke, like your body metabolizes it.
Sure.
And that's why you have to, I've heard that it metabolizes it, and that's why you have to keep using it throughout the course of the night.
Right. I read it. I read that somewhere.
Meth, your body doesn't metabolize. So like, for instance, like if you take meth, like it's not going to stay in your system at all. Like it literally just pees out. So if you've taken a lot of meth and you're going pee, it's like pee what? Like it's meth.
It's meth pee.
So it stays a long time. So that line of meth, you're good.
You're in the
Kind
game.
of, kind of for the night. Like it's
That's all you need.
money.
Yeah.
Easy. And the other thing about that is quite similar to Adderall, is that like cocaine, you're like out partying, you're like, God, you don't really want to party when you're on meth. Like you either get like really horny, which is kind of a kick in the dick because your dick will not work.
No matter
you
what.
do. Nah, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Like I was a teenager, bro.
Nothing. Didn't matter her name. No.
And chicks get horny as hell too. So like
Really?
there was one time that's all like they wanted to do was like have sex. Like, you're just like what you dream of as a child. Like
Right.
this is everything I've ever wanted, and now it's here, and I've been getting blown for 2 hours, and there's nothing I can do.
Oh my God.
It feels awesome,
Right.
like it's awesome, but you're just like,
So the whole time it feels good, but yeah.
yeah, but it's just like, she's like, am I doing something wrong? I'm like, maybe.
Kinda.
This could be your fault. I don't know. It's never happened to me before.
Tickle my ass. See what happens.
Yeah, let's try this. So yeah, no, dude, it was.
That's horrible.
We left this buddy's house and we ran. Like I sprinted back to my friend Mike's house, which was like a mile and a half away, and I'm not like
Sprinted the whole way?
Yeah, I wasn't a distance runner. Like that wasn't my thing.
Whoa.
And so it like registered for me. I played football, and I'm like, I'm gonna use this for football. This makes sense. Yeah, dude, it was so fucking stupid.
Jesus.
I did it for like 3 games.
Wow.
And dude, it was just
Straight?
like,
You were just on it for
yeah,
weeks,
it's like 3 straight weeks. Started seeing things. No, I did it like maybe 4 or 5 times. I was like, okay, this is bad. I don't need to do this. I was fortunate. I don't really have like an addictive personality, so it didn't
Right.
do anything. But my buddy Mike, it got a hold of him pretty bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's doing much better in life now to get away from it. But it's still super common there.
That's crazy, dude.
It's super crazy.
I mean, I guess that makes sense because it's Oregon. So, I mean, what else are you going to do?
If you're outdoors, man, Oregon's fucking great. Like,
It's
it's
beautiful,
one of the most
right?
beautiful places in the world. They don't advertise because they don't want people there. You know, like California, all these places have like visit California.
Yeah.
You've never seen a visit Oregon. There's not going to be a welcome bureau.
No.
It's going to be a get the fuck out. We don't really want you here. And it's got to be even worse now. Like, I grew up in meth, heroin filled, like Oregon. Like Portland wasn't like this cool hipster town. It was like
It is now.
Yeah, you might go there to go to like the zoo. If you got to fly out, you go to PDX, maybe catch a Blazers game. But other than that, man,
That's it.
yeah, just because I mean, literally, like a lot of heroin, a lot of like it was just like on the streets, like
That's wild.
bums, and it gets still like.
Is it still like that?
Yeah, man, I went like 2 or 3 years ago. I guess God, it's been longer than that now, maybe like 6 or 7.
Wow.
Because it was like with an ex before my wife and my son Xavier, and it was so much nicer. And I kind of told her she was like super hipster, and so it was like this was like her dream, her mecca. And I was like, yeah, this is just not. I was like, this is not the way it was. Like black people aren't in Oregon. Like there's just. And she was like, you're so racist. I'm like, that's the most inaccurate statement ever. I'm like, my statement is just accurate. There isn't.
Right.
Whole time we're there, we see one black family in the city, in the city of Portland. Like, Tyler, she's like, okay, you're right about that.
Yeah.
And I was like, when I was in Oregon, I was like, it was just heroin and meth everywhere. She was like, it's just a hipster town now. It's super cool. Within 20 minutes of walking, we're walking over a bridge. I go, hey, look at your cool little town. And there's a dude underneath the bridge just like tying off and shooting. Get her. I was like, in your fucking face. I know my town.
I told you.
We'll shoot up and fucking dirty. Whoa, these shorts have a hole in the crotch.
Yours do?
Just realized that. Yeah.
Jesus.
I think I wore underwear today, huh?
How much meth did you smoke when you were wearing those shorts?
Too much. Too much.
That's crazy though, bro.
Yeah, dude. I was like, I'll write a book someday, man. But growing up was super crazy, which kind of got me, doing sort of the comedy piece now is just needed that outlet. Like, there's a lot of like material in here.
Yeah,
I need to get this shit out.
Yeah, dude. So that's crazy. So obviously you went through a bunch of shit. We've known each other for I don't even know how long.
It's really probably like
10 years, 8 years.
At least I think probably at least 10.
At least 10. Yeah. Yeah, it's wild.
Nice.
So we met working together in a direct marketing company, face to face, direct sales, and there was a lot of good and bad out of that.
Yep.
But just camaraderie, and I mean, a lot of us are still friends to the day.
Yeah, I mean,
so
several of my best friends, honestly, are from that business. Outside my buddy Gene.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So, but obviously, you've done a lot of different careers since then.
Yeah.
So, what made you hop into comedy? Because you're a funny cat, but obviously there was something that probably one day was like, you know what, fuck this, I got to do it.
Yeah, so it was a mix of a few things. One, it's funny you say we were talking about the business, but like Richie, because I used to talk about it even when I was living down south.
Sure.
I was like, I'm going to do it someday. Like, I could do it. And most of my friends, like, throughout my life had been like, yeah, honestly, I think you probably could.
Yeah.
Richie was like, dude, you're not that funny. I was like, fuck you, man. Yes, I am. And I remember after you watched my first video, I was like, all right, man, you are that funny. Like, it worked out. And
that's when you actually, I mean, it's different when you can make little bar rants.
Yeah.
But when you actually sit down and think about material and perfect it.
And try to write it out.
Yeah, that takes the skill.
Yeah. Which honestly, I don't even have yet. It's there's so much that's involved to it that right now it's fun and it's new.
Totally.
But to make it something that, that's really listenable and watchable, it takes a lot of work, but it's like everything else. It's just repetition.
That's it.
I mean, really everything, if you want to do it, if you just do it enough times, you're good at it. Like, it's impossible not
practice.
to be. Yeah. Like, I used to suck at Call of Duty. I've paid thousands of hours of Call of Duty now.
That's right.
I'll murder somebody.
Yeah. I used to suck at sex, but I have had sex for numerous minutes, and I'm a stud now.
Fact, at least 12 to 13 times.
Total in my life.
Yeah.
It's been great.
I'm almost to 15. My wife, after the baby, I think she'll let me touch her again this year at some point.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Looking forward to it.
That's great. I can't wait to have sex.
Mm.
No, but that's, so, I mean, literally when you first started doing, like, you wanted to do comedy, was there one thing that kind of...
Yeah, it was. So I always wanted it because it's just, there's material there.
Right.
I'm in pain, but, my son is kind of why I do most things. And now at this point it's my family, but my oldest.
Yeah. And that's easy material.
Yeah, well, he also just, I always tell him you can do anything, and I'm pretty honest with him. I'm not in like a cliche way. Like
Right.
he's a good-looking kid. He's smart enough. Like he's never gotten below a B on his grades. He's athletic enough. Like if he really, like genuinely, whatever he decided to do, kind of right now, and just put all of his energy and effort into that, he could do it. I genuinely believe that.
That's
And
awesome.
I think most people could. There's just not a lot of maybe self-belief, or people kind of just won't expect things to happen now. We live in kind of that world of instant gratification.
Totally.
So didn't want to be a hypocrite, right? So
Right.
I kind of always talked about doing comedy, and eventually, like last year, I think it started in October.
That was
So
when
like
you started?
like
Wow.
a month before my baby was born. And he was just like, "Why don't you finally do it?" And finally I was just like, "All right, man, like I gotta at least go up one time."
Just to show him.
Yeah, so I can, I face my fears, like you gotta face yours kind
Yeah.
of thing. And I went up, man, I fell in love, dude. It was just like, fuck.
That's
I'm
awesome.
like, I
Man.
should have started this so long ago.
Was it like an open mic or?
Yeah,
or was
yeah.
it
The first time I ever went was open mic. It was at the other bar. I actually remember.
in Orlando? Oh, that's cool.
Yep, I actually remember when that open mic night started. I'd been wanting to do open mics in comedy, and I did one when I was like really young. When the Improv was still in downtown Orlando, and then they lost their liquor license. And this was
Yeah.
12, 13 years ago. And then the other bar was just like this really dope bar that had a pretty good Monday nights. I used to work in the downtown Orlando scene, and so
Oh, yeah.
Monday nights were like one of the few nights you could go out. And I remember when they changed it to the open mic night, and this was like 8 or 9 years ago. And I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then I ended up moving down south and never got back into it, and then make my way back up. And I'm like, they still have the open mic night. And I was like, this makes sense. Like, I should try it here.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I did. And, my first night wasn't actually my first like 3 or 4 were like okay. I mean, the term is relative, but
Right. Enough
made
to
some
give you-
people laugh. And
Enough to give you confidence to where it's
Yeah.
like, I got this.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then maybe like the 5th or 6th time, which would have been like the next time I went to the other bar,
Yeah.
I went with my buddy Gene, who happens to be a African American man, and
Right.
his cousin Michael, who's also African American man.
Can't say black anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the rule.
But is African worse?
It's not better to me.
No,
honestly,
I feel like it's worse.
It's not a better term. It's like when we were younger, the appropriate terminology was Negro, which is fucking weird, right? Like
That's weird. Yeah.
that word always sounded way more racist to me than just like the black guy.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't raised like growing like Oregon. Black people are like Bigfoot. Like you see them on TV, but you're just not sure if they're real. But you're not raised. This is not racist.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's like going to South America and saying, there's no white people, just Latinos.
yeah. It's kind of that.
That's a fact.
It's kind of the same thing. It's just the way it is.
But I mean, we're all African. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
we all.
when it comes down to that DNA thing now, like everybody has like at least 0.1%.
Yeah. I mean, do your 23andMe, bro.
I feel like they're gonna keep my shit.
You're definitely African.
I'm like borderline conspiracy theorist on some of this shit. Like it's sort of like everything else in life. I just use what benefits me the most.
Right.
Like, I love my cell phone, but I kind of know it's listening to me.
Totally.
Like I have one of those Google Homes, and it's
Oh, I got this bitch.
yeah, like
Don't say her name because then she'll turn on.
yeah,
but-
but I don't use it mostly because it's kind of just scares me.
Yeah.
I was gonna leave it unplugged because it's fucked up, man. You'll say things like I was talking to my wife the other day, and I was like, I want one of those guns where you can like shoot salt at flies, and it, like knocks them down.
I've seen those. Those are dope.
Dude, super dope, and it's been like fly crazy down there.
Yeah.
And the next day, there's an ad for it on my Facebook feed. I'm like, I haven't seen a fucking ad for this thing in like 2 or 3 years. I'm like,
Whoa.
get the fuck out of here.
That's how.
So, yeah, I borderline conspiracy theory on those things.
And they sell the info.
Yeah, right. That's
Fuckers.
fucking genius.
But I mean, I'm not really. Everyone's always upset, and they're always every time I tell people because I got 2 of them.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got my whole house lights, everything's linked up, and every time someone comes over, they're like, "Aren't you a little like worried that like she's listening?" And I go, "Dude, I know she's listening."
Yeah, it's just kind of come to terms with it.
Yeah, but also my last like 15 purchases are because of her, and I love them. Like they give me recommendations on stuff to buy and stuff, but
It's usually stuff you want.
I do just stuff I want.
Yeah, I think that does work out in my favor too.
Yeah.
just I say some like out of hand shit sometimes. Like literally the tangent we just went on, like
Right.
my black friends and the Negro, and then we're here.
Yeah.
It could get taken out of context. You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah.
I don't need that in my life.
Right. That makes sense.
But yeah, no, that fifth time I went up, man, I worked on some like I was really trying to maybe like impress my buddy, who's like still like he's literally my son's godfather. He's like, why? There's no point, right?
Yeah.
And so I tried to include him in my comedy.
That's cool.
Because he moved from Florida to Tennessee at the same time I moved from Seattle directly to Tennessee.
Okay.
So I was like Oregon, Oakland, Oregon, Seattle, Tennessee.
So you guys kind of been following the same path, essentially.
Yeah. So we kind of got Tennessee at that same time, and we just hit it off, and we were always friends from there. And so it was good to have because I didn't really fit in Tennessee. I talk a little too much shit for most people.
Yeah.
Hurt their feelings, and they didn't like me. I was like, I'm not a mean guy.
I talk differently.
I just like pointing out your flaws and laughing at them. What's the problem here? You can do it to me too. It's cool.
I got a lot of them.
I had a huge. You see this gap? It's fucking huge. Make fun of that. No, they didn't like it.
No, they didn't
So
like
it was
that.
different.
Tennessee.
So I tried to include him, and we did. I had a couple times in Tennessee pick up girls for him, like to date,
Right.
because the parents wouldn't let him date a black guy.
No shit.
Yeah, and so I was trying to find a way to make that / like white privilege funny, and then kind of tied it all in with like growing up in Oregon and doing those pieces. It was bad. Yeah. Like it was just a lot of explaining that never really got to a joke. It was like almost like the equivalent of like, I got black friends. I'm not I was like, yeah, fuck, this sucks. And like I got off stage and I'm just looking at my buddy's face.
And this was in Orlando, right?
Yeah. And he was just like, what the fuck was that, man? Like he was just so bad, and he didn't want to. Like he was trying to be positive and constructive and different things, but like it fucking was bad. It was bad. And so when he finally saw like one of the good ones I did, he was like, "Oh, okay." Like
So that's what it's supposed to be.
yeah. He's like, "Okay, this is better.
Yeah.
This is really good."
It is kind of a weird thing to talk about.
Well, it's because it's such a sensitive thing. Like people will jump ahead of you, right?
Yeah. Well, now it is, right?
They'll start adding words to your sentence before you're done.
Yeah.
And he was like, that wasn't the direction I was going at all.
Yeah.
And now the direction I was going to go can't get there because you put a roadblock up, and now there's no funny anywhere.
Right.
So you
just
have
made
to
it not
like,
funny.
yeah. So now it's like, I guess maybe before, if you could tell a joke, it would just be like, hey, I'm laying track through this new pasture, whatever it may be.
Right.
And we're going. Now it's like, you got to go lay that track, pave it, line it up, get the road workers to get the traffic going, and then you can start,
Making your joke.
making your joke. And so,
That's fucked up.
and dude, it's not always that bad. Like, I've done, other than that time, like, I've talked about some sensitive things and been okay. Like, but I have reason, dude. I grew up with a gay grandma. Like I have, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I went through like that's part of the reason why I get so frustrated. Cause I'm just like, dude, I've been on your guys' woke train for fucking 37 years. You know what I mean? Like I've never cared what anybody did. Like
Yeah.
I knew what gay was as a child.
Yeah.
I used to have to hide. Like I remember friends coming over and just being like, why's your grandma, like I tell this joke, but I literally had friends for real, like, why's your grandma asleep with her sister? And you're just like, fuck, man. They just do. Like, do I need to explain to you what gay is? Like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. It's
Because it's also like you don't, like, my Aunt Cabby was always around, but it's not like I ever thought they were having sex or anything, man. They got together when they're old. My grandma basically was beaten into being gay.
Right.
And my Aunt Cabby was just there to catch her. And it worked out, you know? They were
Yeah.
together for like 35 years.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was just, I moved around so much, man. I lived from like hillbilly, like literally if you look up white trash in the dictionary, it's like my family.
Yeah.
It's just so bad. To, living in Oakland, living in Seattle, living in Tennessee, like I've really kind of experienced most cultures and most things. And so when you've either done that or you've been through a lot of shit, like mom, like I was raised by my grandma because my mom was murdered. My dad killed himself when I was 15. Like I found him. Like there's a crazy shit. And when that stuff happens, it puts a lot of things into perspective for you. And so you learn empathy, you learn to put yourself in someone's shoes, even if you don't understand them or know where they're coming from.
Yeah.
You can find your way there to give them maybe the benefit of the doubt at a time, or it's just a little easier to get to where that person's coming from
Seeing both sides, being
yeah.
objective. Yeah.
Yeah, because even if you haven't done it, like you're like, well, I haven't had this exact problem, but I've had some problems. So
Yeah.
I maybe see where they're coming from.
Because I mean, we're all gonna have those shit problems, but we can all deal with it the same way.
Yeah, it's
That's what we can learn from.
Yeah, but I always, I always say it. I didn't come up with the saying, but life is 10% how you react to it, 90%, what happens to, or
What happens to it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of what I said. But basically, just fucking, you have two choices, man. I could have went the road of like prison.
Life is 10%. 10% what happens to you,
And
90% how you react.
There it is.
It's the rain, bro.
I clearly say it all the time.
Right. It's a motto to live by.
Yeah, it's a motto I live by. It's tattooed somewhere. I don't know.
Regerts.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
It's crazy, bro.
Yeah, man. So it was crazy, but it gives you character. It makes you strong. That's like why part of the reason why I was like a habitual liar growing up was just I never felt like you never felt fulfilled, right? Like you never. I tell my wife something that was different for me with her was she's the first time I've met somebody that ever made me like a priority, right?
Yeah.
Like I've always made my son's my first priority in everything that I do. Now my family as a whole, and that just makes sense to me. That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
His mom's not really like that. Like hers is like, let me take care of me. Let me figure out me, and if I can get that done, then it'll make things better for him. Kind of bullshit, whatever.
Right.
And growing up, like my grandma was awesome. She did the best she could. She was very giving, and she lost her mind, but she lost her daughter. So it's like a lot to deal with, right? Like I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Like everybody's like, oh man, you lost your mom. I'm like, yeah, it sucked.
Yeah.
At this point in time, like that's natural. Your parents are supposed to die before you.
Yeah.
Losing a child's really unnatural. And like having kids now, I'm just like, fuck.
Yeah,
Like, it gave me a new, like as I got older, it gave me a better appreciation for my grandma.
Well, plus, I mean, we don't, when we're that age, when we run into people that deal with that type of shit, like sometimes we always, as humans, we're just selfish. So we always think, how is it affecting me first? But you're not looking on the other side.
Yeah.
Especially when you're that young.
Yeah.
I mean, even now, I'm 34 years old and I barely do it.
I try to I've gotten a lot better at it from like conscious efforts, but
Totally, yeah.
it's, at that age, and at that age, honestly, rightfully so, like, I shouldn't have to really think about it. Like, it does suck that happened for her, but it's also like, hey, man, I'm still a kid. And
Yeah.
it's,
I'm worried
be
about going
taken
through
care of.
puberty and stuff. I mean,
Yeah. So it's, so that was good, man. I lived with her until I was about 12. And then basically my sister became too much to handle. My sister was 1 when my mom died.
Wow.
Looked a lot like my mom, so
Yeah, that's
everybody
weird.
kind of gravitated towards her.
Sure.
And so I was kind of just not an afterthought. That's not like really a fair statement, but like if we had 2 games, I was playing mine alone. Like
Yeah.
like that. And I think that because of that, like I started that kind of escalated where I'd have to I felt like I had to tell the story of what happened at the game and make it a little better than maybe it was. And then that kind of just carried over.
And it just got piled on worse and worse and worse. And
Yeah, man. And I honestly, through life, you became more aware of it and trying to be, just stop doing that, right?
you have to think about it?
Yeah, stop lying about dumb shit. There's no reason to do that. And it's silly that you have to pause and be like, no. It's not like that so much anymore. I really make an effort, too honest sometimes, but.
And also, it's kind of one of those weird things because, I mean, lying is kind of awesome.
Yeah, if you're good at it, yeah.
If you're good at it, it's really, it's a cool tool.
Yeah. It's like that movie. Have you seen that movie with, what's that British dude? That was The Office?
Hugh Grant. Oh, no.
Jesus Christ.
Right away, British, I think.
Never Hugh Grant.
I think Prostituting You.
Yeah, that would be the one time it's Hugh Grant.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying Prostituting You, which I had my days. Ricky Gervais. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. There's a movie.
The Invention of Lying.
Yes,
I forgot. That's fantastic.
So good, dude.
Available on Netflix now.
Right?
It's a really good movie.
It's so good. We're just
really movie. Yeah.
I can just tell you anything.
Yeah.
Just believe it.
And he's the only one that can lie.
It's just just like,
So no one else knows. So everyone else walks around telling the truth.
it's so good.
Yeah, it's
It's
fantastic.
such a good concept for a movie.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
You see some of those movies that you're just like, how did this not get better? And you're just like, that's right, people are stupid.
that's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead, they're just gonna remake a bunch of Marvel movies and
Yep.
make some
Which, I
some
mean,
billions.
I'm not, dude.
I mean, they're fantastic.
Avengers was dope.
Oh, come on.
Dude, I took my son. We went and saw it because, I mean, I've been taking him since he was 5. So,
Yeah.
like, the first one, like, we've gone to all of them in the theater. And this one, we didn't want to get ruined, like, spoiler, because people are assholes.
Totally.
And they did, man. They did. Like, and not even like, hey, my buddy Mike
Yeah.
ruined it for me, on Facebook or something.
Yeah.
There was like real life people do it. Like who was the running back for who's he playing for now?
What up?
Shady McCoy, LaShawn McCoy.
What'd he do?
Blasting it on Twitter, just talking about how
What?
Iron Man's dead and oh my god, I can't believe they killed him. It's like the next day, you're like, you fucking asshole.
Which, by the way, spoiler alert.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in time, it's your guys' fault.
Yeah, or I
It's
think we're
been-
past
it's
that.
like a month. Yeah, I think like even like the actors are able to go. Like we're past spoiler on Game of
yeah.
Thrones.
Like if you haven't, seen it by now, you're an idiot. You need to go see it.
Yeah, and
I
if
mean,
you
it's-
didn't know that Iron Man died, you're probably not listening to the podcast because you're
Right.
buried in a cave.
Exactly.
Everyone knows.
Exactly.
So we went and saw it like 2:00 in the morning, opening night.
Nice.
It was dope. We
It's
got
a
out
great
of the theater at like 6,
Yeah.
and just had breakfast and shit after.
Yeah.
It was just it was a dope ending to all of it. I think they did a good job. Tied
It was
all
just
together.
it was a good like passing the torch.
Yeah.
Whatever they're gonna do later, or they could do nothing. Yeah,
Yep.
that's what's
They're
kind of
gonna
cool
be done.
about a movie like that, where they can really go off it and create the new, Captain America
Yeah, the
with
next generation.
They could do
Yeah.
that. That could be cool. Or they could do like what Christopher Nolan did with Batman. You thought we were gonna have like a Robin movie at the end.
Yeah,
when
yeah.
He goes to the Batcave, but
I'm just like, nah.
no,
fuck
I'm
that.
out. So, but it was a
I
really
wish
good.
he'd make more Batmans though, because those were the best.
Oh, they were great,
Fucking
dude.
So good.
Well, now they're redoing.
Yeah, it's gonna be the vampire guy? Like, come on, bro.
Twilight, bro.
Dude, these shiny skin motherfuckers gonna be Batman, just glistening on his face through the mask.
Bro, there was a petition going around where the chick from Twilight
Yeah,
should be Catwoman. Like that was the.
just
Like,
make it real uncomfortable.
if we're
'cause I don't
gonna
think
do
they're
it-
cool anymore.
No,
That'd
no.
be fucking hilarious.
If we're gonna do it, let's
Let's
really
just
fuck
fucking
this up.
really blow it.
Yeah,
God, dude, I just
and it's weird. It's
But
like
what if
one
he's
of the,
good? It's one of those things like maybe. He's
I don't know if you remember, but this is 8 years ago or 6 years ago, whenever The Dark Knight came out, and social media really wasn't as big, obviously, as a deal as it does now. But people were pissed that Heath Ledger was the Joker.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I
You remember that?
You see,
like
I've always been
livid.
I love Heath Ledger, dude. I've been a fan. Like I've seen Knight's
Right.
Tale more times
Oh,
than I can count.
it's great. But remember, this was, I think it was announced like after, it was literally right after Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah, it was. It was like right after.
So
Brokeback
they're
Mountain.
like, hey, you remember that gay cowboy?
yeah,
He's
yeah.
going to go ahead and be,
He's gonna be Batman now.
The
Or
Joker,
Joker,
yeah,
yeah,
the Joker.
It's crazy how good it was. Too.
and he's going to have to follow Jack Nicholson. It's like, what type of, I mean, I hate to say it was horrible what happened, but that's a lot of pressure.
Dude.
Because he killed himself before the movie came out.
Yeah, yeah.
So he probably was hearing a bunch of people talking shit for, 18 months of filming or whatever it was?
It was like you mix that with. I think he got into like there were some like pharmaceuticals.
Oh, some sleeping
and, like,
pills.
depression, but they say he just fell really heavy into that role and it kind of fucked with him. He was like, jeez.
Yeah. Or you can do what Jared Leto did and
Just
care
fuck
nothing
it.
about the role.
Yeah, just fuck you. Look at me. I'm Joker.
It was
the
Jared.
Lamborghini.
It was just Jared Leto with tattoos.
Yeah, it really was, and like gold teeth, platinum teeth, and green hair.
It's like I think
He's a pretty motherfucker, though, man.
He's gorgeous.
God, there's just certain people you're just like, how the fuck?
Yeah. How
At
do you
least
do
like,
that?
at least he did something with it. You see some people like you know Tim.
Right.
You look at guys like Tim, and you're just like,
What are you doing?
what are you doing with your life, man?
Yeah.
Like you should be a lot more. I've had these conversations with him on a kind of. He's kind of in a. He's been in a funk,
I heard.
suppression and shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's.
Well, for people that I know, Tim is gorgeous.
Yeah, yeah. He's like I can't.
I mean,
Good
he's better.
explanation.
He's better looking. The best way to say it is he's better looking than both of us. That's probably
Yeah, but I mean that's not,
combined. And then if you add on Jared Leto and the body of
Yeah, you give him like. He's got like black hair, beautiful hair. He's like almost 40. He still has all his hair.
Right.
It'd be like
He looks
he's like
25.
2 inches shorter than me, and give me Tony's body.
but better.
Yeah, and with no gap, and white teeth. Pretty much that'll do it.
That'll do it. That's pretty good. Shout out to Dem.
Yeah. This makes him uncomfortable every time. I fucking hate you guys. Dude, no one told you to be so pretty and not do more.
Give some of your pretty to us, you fucking selfish bastard.
Yeah, but I tell him that all the time. Like, dude, he's looking for a job and doing what I'm like, hey man, you're good at sales, you have your degree, and you're fucking good. Like, get in pharmaceuticals, do something. Like,
Okay, first of
figure it
all,
out.
hold on. He's not looking for a job.
Yeah.
There's no way he is.
Yeah.
Because
On and off
he doesn't if he goes out and looks for a job, he'll get it. Like, you have to just walk in.
I think it's, the digital world that we live in now.
That's true.
Plus, Tim, dude, I don't know if you remember, but like, I remember when he first came into the business, he's one of those people that you either really like him up front or it's just there's not a middle ground. And so he can rub people the wrong way pretty quick.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's a great interviewer. So I try to help coaching him in that.
Yeah.
But
Maybe like after two seconds, he's like,
yeah,
all right, you know what? I'm over this. I'm prettier than you. I'm out.
Yeah, like even in the business when he came in, he was like, I'm not going door to door. Like he told Richie that in the interview. She's like, yeah, no problem.
But that's all you do.
Yeah, that's literally all he did. And he didn't even go on he didn't go on his day out with me, so he would ended up going like business to business. He went with like some other dude and he fucking ran him into the ground door to door. But then he showed up the next day and went with us to New Orleans for like a
probably because like I was
trip.
on his interview, he ended up fucking selling a shit ton of pieces probably.
No, he actually sucked, dude. He
Really?
sucked at sales when he started because he had a bad attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
That is one thing that the going door to door really taught me was attitude, man. Like,
to control it.
oh man, and to control it, for work, but also just my personal life, like identifying, who's negative and not surrounding myself with negative people, because in sales they always teach you no's a no, keep turning into a yes. Like, what's the saying? Like 30 no's equals a yes or some bullshit.
Like 10
no's equals a yes. So
Yeah.
like if you're a telemarketer, you're going to keep asking me.
Yep.
Well, in direct sales, they always teach you it's law of averages, all numbers. So the more no's you get, but not for that person. If a person gives you a no, you try to overcome it. Of course, you're in sales, but if they don't want to buy, you don't want to hard pressure them because the more people you talk to, the more sales you're going to get.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And ever since I got out of the business, I applied that trait to everything I do. I mean, except for women. For some reason, I find myself like a negative chick, and for some reason, maybe it's the sex. I don't know that.
Yeah, it's usually
the sex. Yeah. That's
'cause
what it is.
They're crazy
Yeah.
most times, but it also really takes. There's like a final one of the negative.
Right.
You're just like, and that's it.
Yep.
Like I now officially know 100%
Yes.
what I'm not looking for, and I'm comfortable enough to be alone forever to never deal with it. again.
Never deal with it.
Yeah.
And then usually that happens, and then you find the wife.
Yeah, that's literally what happened to me, man.
Yeah.
I was not looking, but I was in a place where, for the first time in my life, like, was ready, right? Like,
Yeah.
Like, first time in my life, I was able to, like, buy an engagement ring, do any of these things. Like, it took a lot of time. Like, for me, it was, so, like, the hypocrite thing with my son, when I got around 30, like, I really started becoming, like, I started smoking weed more, just kind of stay home, not go out. When I was younger, I used to work out in, like, the nightclubs, so I could be out that way and making money. I'm pretty social in that regard, so it was hard for me not to go out at night.
Right.
Especially being single.
Yeah, nightlife.
Yeah, so I started smoking weed so I can be home more. Because I just remember, like, when I was younger, I'd smoke, and it just mostly made me tired and hungry. So I was like, it seems like a fair way to not go out.
Yeah.
Well, if you smoke on a pretty regular basis, and you're already someone who's I'm pretty introspective by nature. Weed makes you way more introspective. And it's just like, it points out all like these glaring flaws.
Yeah.
And it's just impossible to ignore them for me. Like, I just can't. And if I try to,
It just stands out.
so bad. And
Yeah.
so I was crazy overweight. Was a super hypocrite with my son because I've always made him kind of eat right. Because again, like we talked about, like
Well, he's always been, skinny. Like,
yeah, he's always
not skinny, but he's a normal.
Yep.
Kid. Yeah.
Because he's never been overweight, never had any of those things.
Right.
He's always done well. Like, never had a hard time running the mile in school and that stuff because I instilled those habits in him early. And I think
This is where you guys don't share the same traits.
yeah, 100%, man. Because I grew up like fast food, best we could do, like poor
Right.
white trash in Oregon. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
breakfast would be a whole box of like cereal. Like, it was just fine when I was young, and
Sounds good.
active and stuff like that, but I was a fat kid, and then I got tall and started playing sports a lot more, and then rode that out for a while. Was in shape and good, and then just kind of gained 10 pounds a year for like 10 years. So
Right.
Next thing I know, I'm 300 pounds. I'm telling my son to eat right, and I'm picking up fucking Big Mac on the way to pick him up from daycare.
Yeah. And why do you think that was? Was it just you were stuck in the habit? You weren't really thinking about?
Yeah. I think it was really just habits, man. I also didn't, I knew I was heavier, but I didn't kind of realize how big I had gotten until after I had lost the weight.
You don't see it until.
Yeah, and I got mad at my friends more so, too. I'm like, you guys are fucking ass. Like, all the things you could have made fun of me for, like, this should have been one of them.
Right.
Like, people talk about, like, fat shaming or be nice to everybody. Yeah, man, you don't hurt people's feelings, but if you take things the right way, fat shaming can be good for you.
Absolutely.
It's honest to God, a good portion of why I lost weight.
No shit.
It was part of it, yeah, because like me.
Well, if we knew that, we would have made fun of you for years.
Right, you're right.
Yeah.
Me and Tim got in like this. We were roommates. And we got in like a roommate fight, and he kept on. He's like, "You fat fuck, just going." I was like, "This motherfucker's never gonna have that again." I'm like, "That's all you got? Like, you'll never have it again?" Because I was already kind of in that mode.
Well, and it's coming from a guy that has a fucking 15 pack.
Yeah,
Yeah,
little bricks built
Right.
into his skin, and I was kind of already in that mode because I was like tired of being a hypocrite for my son. I was going on 30, and it was like, this seems like the right time. Like, if I'm gonna get a hold of this, I might as well get a hold of it now because it's not gonna get easier.
Mm-hmm.
And, I lost a little over 100 pounds, like when I got to like the peak.
Yeah, dude, you look incredible. No homo.
I appreciate that. All homo. Yeah, I don't think that's allowed anymore either.
I can't say no homo?
I don't think so.
Is it because it sounds like I'm condoning no homosexuals?
Yeah. It makes a.
That's interesting.
Can't really do much anymore.
Yeah. I mean, the good news is with this podcast, no one can cancel it. That's why I started one.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of the things I like about those.
Yeah.
You hear it now. It's like, you can say what you want.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing too. Like, people talking about in comedy is, yeah, it's gotten tighter, and people are kind of just cunty across the board.
Right.
But generally speaking, though, still, if it's funny, it's funny.
Yeah. Well, and if it's coming from a comedian, it should be construed as comedy because it's
Yeah, but that's
a joke.
Yeah, no, context doesn't exist anymore.
It's fucking nuts.
It just does not exist, like, at all. And with social media, like, it started getting, like, it gets, we talked about, eliminating the negative from people around you, and they suck.
Yeah.
I've really started doing that in social media, too. Like, if
For
like,
sure.
I constantly see posts, I'm just like, God, I'm like, done. I'm not doing it. If
Yeah.
you're too far left, nope. Too far right, nope. Like,
Mhm.
if all I see is political, like, no. If
I'm
you
out.
say asinine shit, like, no. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And because, the social media is like literally has the algorithms to feed you negativity. Like,
Literally. Yeah.
that's what gets interacted with more is negative.
Mhm.
If you have a bad experience, you're going to tell 10 people. If you have a positive experience, maybe you tell one. Yelp is a good example of that, right? Just a
Yeah.
bunch of little assholes with hats on that think they have a voice now.
Yeah.
Shitting on someone's business that they work so hard at.
Yeah. They think they're just a fucking food critic and.
Yeah, South Park does a good job of calling people out.
Oh, it's great.
But it's just like, you just got to be a little more mindful, I guess. And I get it to an extent, right? Like, it's unfortunate that if all those years we were saying those things and there's a sector of people that were being hurt by it. Like,
Totally.
I don't
Yeah.
know too many, context should be held accountable, right? Especially for comedians, because no comedian I can think would ever just be like, all right, that's pretty funny, but God, how could I really hurt someone with this too?
Right.
You know what I mean? That's just not like a thought
Yeah.
process. Just wanted to be what's funny.
Well, I think a good example, I was telling my buddy about this the other day. I think a good example of like describing a comedian is we can't really hold them, like this whole Louis C.K. thing, which I want to talk about too, but
Yeah.
we can't really hold them. I don't want to say we have to treat them differently, but it's a form of entertainment. It's almost like watching a movie.
Yep.
When someone makes fun of somebody on a movie or a TV show, you don't go on Twitter and bash that person.
But they do now.
But they do now.
Yeah, they
But
do.
that's not what you think usually off the top of your head. But
Yeah,
now
we
they
don't.
do. We don't.
We
Normal
don't.
people.
Yeah, dude. It's all those things are absolutely right.
Right.
But it's just not the case anymore, man. It's like people, right? It's this we reward problems now.
Yeah.
It's like it's a it's like a badge to have anxiety or to have ADHD or be depressed or do all these things. And I'm not downplaying them, because I went through a really serious bout with it, maybe 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly contemplated suicide. Like, shit was fucked up.
No shit.
And so I know it's real, but also as real as it is, a lot of it can be solved by just fucking picking up your boots and just doing something. Work
Right.
out, walk, find a hobby. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, if you just sit and dwell and just live on social media and that's
Yeah.
your life, it's fucking depressing. That's a depressing life. That's why you're depressed.
Yeah. And that's a big thing too, I notice, is people just don't have hobbies anymore. Like, people don't like to
Their
do
phone's their
things.
hobby. The phone,
Yeah, their
like-
phone's and the problem is, you try to either be people that are on that phone, or you try to be quote unquote like
the person.
that
people
and-
want to be.
right, and then talk shit about everyone else, which is ignorant.
Yep.
And I don't think if people just respected each other more and respected the art of, let's say, comedy, or let's say, the president, or literally anything,
Yeah.
if you could just look at that person and just respect them and say, hey, you know what? That's their journey. If they're going to be a dick, if they're going to make fun, that's cool, but it's not I don't know what's going on in that person's head.
Yeah.
So I need to take a step back and just be like, it ain't my problem. It's not affecting the people around me, unless it has to do with like the earth, like, okay, pollution.
Yeah.
If you see a guy that's gonna drive an 18-wheeler, then right afterwards he takes his plastic cup and throws it on the ground, it's okay to be mad at that guy.
Come on, man.
But I mean, if a person makes a joke on Twitter, you shouldn't respond
Yeah.
to try to bash them. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't affect you.
Yeah.
It's not affecting your life.
And I agree. I think you should always carry it with like politics, president, whatever difference. Like, I don't like Trump. I'm not a Trump fan. My family, though, is from Tennessee, and they're fucking great people. Some of the best people I know. Like, honest to God,
Yeah.
like, literally just amazing, loving, caring people. And, I've gotten arguments on Facebook with friends that are from the West Coast that are very left. Like, again, I have two extremes in my friendship group.
Yeah.
And I take the stance on, one, I'm not going to hate anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not giving anybody the power over me. Like, if I don't hate the guy who killed my mom, no one else. I'm not going to hate anybody else.
Right.
And like, I've had those conversations with my friend, like, well, he stands for this and he does. I'm like, yeah, no, man, I get all that. No doubt. But you're going to tell me that everybody that supports him is a monster, because I know that not to be true.
Right.
And you sound stupid for saying that.
Exactly.
And some people will stick to it.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, no. I'm like, okay, again, how long have we been friends? What, 20 plus years?
Right.
The people that I care about very much and love, support, and they're not in any way what you say they are, right? They picked whatever happened. Like, people are just teammates. Like, they talk about on Joe Rogan all the time. People are friends of their team.
Oh, yeah.
So they're Republican, they're Republican. They're Democrat. I think the one positive with Trump is that it's breaking up some of that. It's people are starting to understand a little bit more.
Well, the whole fake news thing.
Jesus
I mean, but beforehand, we thought the news was where we got
yeah,
our
everything,
information.
right? And you're just like, I hate that fake news statement, but then you look and you're just like, Jesus.
Wait a minute,
like,
there is fake news.
So
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
So much fake news.
And you don't even have to think like CNN versus Fox. Like,
Yeah.
that's irrelevant. Just
In general.
understand that if there's 20 articles out there, some of those might be full of shit.
Yeah.
And the problem is, people, when they headline read and when they identify to look at certain views, they're not looking at the other view and the other side. So this is where that team culture, like you're talking about, kind of happens a lot.
Or they don't even look into depth into what they're saying. Like you said, the headline reading.
Right.
They'll read a headline. I've done it a couple times, like just like almost as a a test on Facebook, or just
Right.
fucking, because I went through a phase where I was really digging fucking with people on Facebook about this stuff. Cause,
It's kind of fun.
yeah, I mean, because I if I take my time and I can write something out and be thoughtful in it, there's not a lot of people that I don't think I can either one, sway to my side, or at least do a really good job of making you look stupid to everybody else.
Right.
Like,
And there is certain satisfaction in that, for sure.
yeah, no, I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
It's almost like you make the comment and you're just like throwing that line out there, right?
Waiting
You're like,
for it.
yeah,
Waiting for
oh
it.
fucking God, I
God,
knew it.
I
I knew
reel it in.
it. Gotcha. Yeah. Get ready to get roasted. And the positive of that, the reason I can do that, especially in those types of situations, is again, I can put myself in both sides.
Right.
I can see where both sides are coming from, right? Like, my buddy that lives on the West Coast that thinks Trump is terrible, like I get where he's coming from, man. Like I really, honestly, truly do. I get what he's been fed. I get what he's seen.
Yeah.
And my aunt and uncle, I get it from their perspective too, like being who they are and knowing where they're from. Like I get it.
Yeah.
You know, then you hear the guy. The problem, this is my biggest problem. And I go back and forth, right? Because it's super annoying how much the media just shits on him.
Yeah. Oh, that's the worst.
And it's you're just like, God, I can't hear anymore. Like we get it. He sucks.
Well,
But also, fucking, he does so much dumb shit, man. You're just like, fuck.
I mean, he does. He either. What's interesting about here's what's crazy about him. Two things. Number one, he was just like that before he was
That's
president.
who he is. That's the one thing I get. Is he is who he is.
So if I hated Trump, let's say, which I'm indifferent about the whole thing, because I just think I just didn't want the person on the left.
Yeah,
that's
no,
just it.
I still think he was the better option in that regard.
And I don't even think I'm Republican or Democrat because I like views from both, and I think that's okay. And I don't even know if I'm independent. I feel very strong with like how Rogan feels.
Yeah.
Where the president is just an ignorant job.
Yeah.
It shouldn't exist.
It should not exist.
It's way too much. See, what's weird is we don't see. This is the stuff we don't think about when we vote and when we dive into politics. And when you're Democrat or Republican, we don't think about this stuff where it's like, in 1776, a president made sense.
Yeah, right. There's like
The year 1776,
12 people.
it made sense, totally. But now there's 7 billion people on Earth,
It's like, get the fuck out of here.
and when you're the leader of the free world, the president of the United States, you're running the world because we have troops everywhere. You're looked at as, at least number two.
Yeah.
China is pretty much creeping, but I mean, number two,
That shit's scary.
I know.
I'm legitimately
I'm terrified.
like, it is sort of one of my fears.
Yeah.
I'm just like, dude, we're gonna keep fucking with them.
But then that's the thing. It's like, okay, so now you're putting in, let's say you don't like the current president, but now you're putting the pressure of everybody hating you, or at least 50% of people hating you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're trying to do what's best for your family and your country. So he's doing all these meetings and he's talking this way and he's acting this way because he thinks it's best. So you can't really hate on him because he's just doing what he thinks and his team thinks is the best thing. So we don't really know if it's right or wrong because we don't, like, who are we? We don't know. You don't know. I don't know. The president doesn't even know.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think there's a right or wrong here. That's why one person running the show is crazy.
yeah. I definitely agree. With all of it, it's like I agree, but right.
You're right.
I think you're right in theory. They should do what's best for them, or I think, and I don't think Trump is some like evil person, right?
Of course,
I don't even think he's smart enough to honestly like put together some of the things that people think he's putting together. It's just this guy's
Right.
like, do you listen to his dialect?
It's obviously a group of people that are helping.
Yeah. I mean, just even hearing him speak, like it's like his speeches are like the equivalent of the Hawaiian like alphabet. There's like 12 words in it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he only says like it's like the same things.
I don't even think they're called speeches.
Yeah, it's tough.
His sentences.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
tough. Like
just-
this chopped up words.
Right.
It's but I also don't think, like, my biggest thing when he started running, I used to tell him, I was like, he's gonna win. People are like, you're an idiot. I'm like, dude, I genuinely believe he's gonna win.
Oh, yeah.
But I also believe that he doesn't want to be president. I don't think he ever wanted to be president. I think that
He was going after the establishment.
well, no, I think that he was like, fuck you, Obama. I
Yeah.
really do think it comes down to like when he's like, oh, one thing you'll never be,
Yeah.
president. And he's like, really, motherfucker? Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. And now he's in there and he's probably fucking, dude,
He's freaking out.
He hates it, dude.
Yeah, he's freaking
he
out.
He has to hate it. Why would you do that?
Although he's not really.
He's not aging.
He's not aging.
Because he doesn't do anything, I don't think.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
it's like, you know what I mean?
Like Obama, you could tell like after a year he
Bro.
went from black
Stressed.
to gray.
And that's the other thing, too, is the media now is there's just a lot more of it.
Right.
Dude, they shit on Obama constantly.
Oh yeah.
Like, it was tough. Like, if he behaved in the manner in which our president behaves now,
Oh yeah.
they would have impeached him just based on behavior.
Well, and that's another interesting thing too. Like if you're whether you're left or right, and I always talk to like hardcore Trump supporters, and they're always like, yeah, the media's out to get Trump, but dude, the media has always been out to get
Every president.
every president. It's just it's more blown up now because if the media says some bullshit and then Fox News says some good stuff about the president, that stuff gets shared and liked and with millions of people, so it gets to you faster.
It's too much. We have too much
Yeah.
information at this point. Like,
People don't understand the first year of Obama being president, in order to see him, you had to turn on the TV.
Yeah. You
I
couldn't
can't remember the last time I watched the news.
No, man.
So now everything you do and
Yeah.
everything you see, you're going to see something political. So it seems like he's getting shit on, but he's getting shit on a normal amount. Like the other presidents.
I've curated most of it out of my life.
Yeah.
Probably in the past month or so, I really don't see too much of it anymore. Like, honest to God, when I say,
Well, you
like,
take it out of your feed, right?
yeah. So
Yeah, me
100%.
too.
And so, like,
Yeah.
Facebook, I fucked up Facebook's algorithm. So now, like, what I see, like, they're like things you might like, and
Yeah.
it'll be like a soldier coming home from war, or like this
Right.
random shit that kind of like, which is nice.
Yeah.
But also, I'm like, I can't have this because I'm gonna be fucking crying all day.
Right.
So like, I need a good median here.
Like all things comedy and
Yeah.
things
So
like
I have them, like, they're good.
Yeah.
I was fucking. I followed Chelsea Handler.
She is hysterical.
She is, but dude, I'm tired. Like, I can't deal with her anymore.
Oh, because she went so left?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
even like, dude, I can even guess if you want to go left and those are your beliefs, no problems, man.
Right.
But like,
She
yesterday,
turned her whole show into it.
well, yeah, and yesterday she put up a post, like, if you're spreading hate or hateful or hurting people, you know, you should like she was basically saying we should boycott Facebook, delete our accounts if they don't stop, like, basically doxing people,
Whoa.
for being offensive or for damaging. I'm just like, one, you're a comedian. You're an advocate for free speech that you don't like?
But now you're asking people to,
That's super hypocrite.
yeah.
Two, you made your career on talking shit about people. Like, you're a champion at that shit.
Yeah.
And you still do it on a daily basis. You shit all over. Like,
All over people.
All over Trump. Like, all over. Like, you want to talk about hate, like, just hateful as you're going to get. I
Yeah.
get that the guy you're being hateful towards is a pretty easy target, and a lot of people agree with you. But at the end of the day, you're still being hateful.
Right.
You're still letting that person occupy space in your brain and in your heart, and you're spreading that hate to other people. And now not only are you doing that, you want to silence the people who don't agree with you.
Yeah.
And that's such the antithesis of what a comedian's supposed to be. Like, it was just, I was like, and I'm done. Like, I can't
That's
fuck with
it.
you anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't care what you support.
Yeah.
But when you start just the hypocrite, like, start being a hypocrite, like, when you, it's
Well,
just,
and
it's
you're,
bullshit.
And you're probably asking people to boycott a platform that you're on, messaging them.
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck are you supposed to get out to your fans if you don't have Facebook or Twitter?
That's exactly. It's
Get the fuck
exactly
outta
it.
here.
But that's
Yeah.
also like sort of that line where, you know, they just did like the doxing of what was it? Alex Jones, somebody else, and
Yeah,
who
on Twitter.
Who was the there was like one guy on the left, like extremist, like a Muslim extremist, they call him. No, that's not the right word. He was like, in terms of Facebook, it was extreme. Like, Farrakhan, Louis Farrakhan.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So they doxed him and Alex Jones and the other,
Yep.
because he just has like, that's the other thing too, is like, you left like, yeah, Farrakhan. I'm like, that dude is like super sexist and racist and a lot of other things too.
Yeah.
Like, why are you tying your horse to that? Like, what's different?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
again, you agree with some of the things that he's saying. Like, get out of here.
Yeah.
There's just not a place for hate. Like, I just don't understand it.
Yeah, and again, even if that's who they are, the fact that we have platforms to speak our mind, that's a great thing with freedom of speech. So, like, the fact that we're banning people,
Yeah, it's
I mean, that's the big thing is
the social media places now are leaving themselves open for regulation on it, right? Because
It's crazy.
Facebook is the closest thing to a public forum that exists or that has ever existed, right?
Yeah,
like, in
literally.
terms of nothing in history has connected more people than that.
totally.
And so if they're going to start just cutting people off because they don't like what's here, like, that's crazy to me. And the people are just like, well, it's hateful and it hurts people. I'm like, yeah, no, that's not, no, I don't want anybody to be hurt or feelings to be hurt, but unfortunately that's life. And two, I want to know who that is, right? Like, I want to know that person.
Right.
So
yeah.
I can avoid them.
Right.
I want, if they're being hateful, like, that's an awesome opportunity for me to educate my son on how not to be. If those people are silenced or put into, you know, the dark, well, now if it takes one charismatic person, you know, take a Hitler, right? Like, this is obviously an extreme example,
totally.
but if everything keeps getting pushed down and buried and pushed down and buried, well, now you start having a sector of people, whoever it may be, that starts feeling disenfranchised because the people that they agree with are getting shut down, and it's not that hard to get a following now,
Yeah.
right? Like,
And then they end up following some crazy fucking leader.
that's exactly it. And then
That's what happens.
it can grow from there, and then from like the charismatic side of it, you can just use whatever, whatever. Like, they don't want to hear us. Like, I'm right. You're like, yeah, fuck. Because cause I think people aren't, by nature, people aren't evil. I don't believe that to be true. I think there are exceptions.
Yeah.
But I think people want to feel like they fit in. They want to feel part of something. They want to, all those things. And so I think in that group, people are capable of doing things that they wouldn't do on their own. That's why you see like these people make these comments online. Like, if you were standing in front of me right now, like, you wouldn't say that.
Oh,
right?
yeah, of course.
Not even for fear, like, I'm gonna beat your ass. Like,
Yeah.
that's just not human decency.
Well,
it doesn't feel good to be that way.
And I do agree. I think the vast majority of people are nice. I think if you lay out 100 people and you look at resumes and you look at background and personalities and how they treat their family and their friends, I think a lot of them are good. I would probably say 98 people out of that 100. Although I bet every single one of those people probably want to run over someone with their car at some point during the day.
100%.
So in order to them release that negative aggression, instead of actually physically running people over, they just go on Twitter and badmouth people. I don't mind that.
That's not bad. Yeah, that makes sense.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'd rather them release that aggression. It's like Louis had a great bit on one day there should be a massive, like, university or something. And instead of actually having, like, psychopaths run around and do what they want to do, we let all the psychopaths into this university, this big auditorium, and you rent the auditorium out for the day, and there's dead bodies.
It's like, go after it.
And you just have fun with it.
Dude.
And you could, do whatever you want, have fun. But I think people need that release of aggression or whatever it is.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. The problem is that we can. It's really hard to get anybody to that place now, because there's so many gates up that you have to tiptoe around to kind of get to the final, like, where the meat of everything is. And people, like, I say it a lot, like, now today it's more, people don't care if what they hear is true as long as what they hear is what they want to hear, right?
Oh yeah,
Like,
that makes sense.
fake news, all those things, they come about because people believe it, people follow it. That's just what they want to hear. They don't want to take that extra time to do the research, or they don't want
Right.
like, oh, this is validating what I feel. I agree. This is real.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not. That's not real.
No.
And now it's not like people will argue. You can't argue. This is like, it's a fact.
Yeah,
Like,
these are facts, yeah.
How are facts being argued now? Like, this is insane to me, right?
Well, politics is a great example, because you have those conversations with people, and people are at the point now where they forget that it's okay to believe what you want to believe, but the other person you're talking to, it's okay to just have a conversation and figure out what they're thinking, because they might say something that is correct. Like, I obviously I was a personal trainer before the business, and I still work out a lot, but there's sometimes, like, whether it's a diet or like, I just had some people on the podcast last week where they're nutritionists and fitness coaches, and they gave me some information that I didn't even know about. But I'm not going to sit there and tell them they're wrong. They obviously know more than I do.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take that information and I'm going to use it and apply it, to my normal life. Doesn't mean I don't stop believing in what I believe, but it's okay to gather new information.
Yeah.
But you got to be able to want to have those conversations.
Yeah, and I think people don't want to, unless that conversation's like.
Well, people like the short term.
What's a team? Again, it's that team mentality is like, validate me, make me feel important. We live in this. Everybody's something special.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's good that people are that feel. You want people to feel good.
Yeah.
But again, there's reality. Like we talked about jokes and sometimes having to learn how to tiptoe around and trying to make certain things funny.
Yeah.
And there's a concept I've been playing with that hasn't been well received so far. But I mean, to me, it's like, I think there's funny in truth. The problem is sometimes people don't want to be truthful. But like, I thought the jokes, like, I think Thanos was the real hero. People are like, what the fuck? Yeah, dude, I did it right after the release. Dude, I had one girl actually walked out.
You did it the day after the premiere?
2 days? Yeah,
That's
like
awesome.
2 days. I mean, I didn't spoil anything, but
Yeah.
everybody yelled at me, like, spoilers. I'm like, shut the fuck up. I understand.
Yeah.
But I made one girl walked out. I'm like, dude, you like the Avengers that much. I'm like, just hear me out.
Yeah.
But the reality is we do have too many people. The reality is we are, as a whole, killing everything.
Yeah.
The reality is there needs to be less people. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it sounds fucked up, but it kind of needs to be that way. And if you even look at, like, if you just, whether you believe in God or the mother, whatever you believe in, if you look at now, like, birth rates are going down.
Yeah.
So, the world fixes itself, right?
Right.
Like, we look at, baby boomers and all those time frames as, there was a lot of war going on, a lot of mass amounts of people dying. And there was a peak in population, and it's kind of continued to grow, and now it's on that downward trend, which is,
Yeah.
people are like, it's a concern.
Well, and I think people are starting to get smarter too.
Yeah.
They realize, like, from the age 0 to 18, it costs like $1 million to have a kid.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, me and the wife have this conversation all the time. She wants kids, and so do I, but it's, it's like not one thing that I'm super rushed to get into, because, like, we're living a good life now.
Yep.
It's not going to be like that,
Yeah, man.
when we have a kid. And, people always, oh, but, you find the kid and there's love and you're never going to feel that. And I go, okay, but could I live without it? I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
man.
not, but
I think so. So again, I try not to be. I try to live by what I preach other people should do.
right.
So you should be able to be open to the other side of things, right? And be open to that hard conversation. Like, hey, look, we need to get to here. Like, our system's broke. We need to fix it here. We have a problem with here. The problem is we can't fix anything if people don't realize there's a problem.
Right.
And so now it's just this constant cycle. Like, we're never going to get anywhere. But dude, I can't, this shit is bad. I literally forgot the trend. Like, I was on. And it's happened to me a couple times, but it's come back. Once or twice.
Sponsored by Rain Body Fuel.
Yeah, no doubt.
No, but the whole overpopulation thing, that's funny you say that, because I was actually thinking about that the other day, where we have so many people, but I think now we hate each other a lot more, because maybe for whatever reason the whole team thing is 100% accurate, but I think a lot of it has to do with how we treat each other and raise each other.
Yeah.
So maybe people aren't having kids a lot more because they just can't raise kids. I don't think people are smart enough to actually have kids.
Yeah, the
just-
the younger generation is a lot more childish by nature, and
Right.
again, it's that cycle. Right?
They're very
It's-
selfish.
Well,
Yeah.
they are, and it's the parents' fault. Like, at the end of the day,
Totally.
that's what I tell my son is, anything that happens to you is 100% your fault. But I figure if he approaches life that way, even when it's not his fault, if he takes an analytical look at it and go, well, I could have done this different,
Right.
he's going to at least have an upper leg, I think, than on most people. And it's something I've really tried to instill, because
Yeah, totally.
my family is like habitual excuse. Like, my grandma, as much as I love her and amazing as she was like the epitome of the worst enabler ever. Like, my mom died at a very young age by just doing dumb shit. Like, she was a long haul truck driver, stopped picking up hitchhikers. She continued to pick up hitchhikers. One became her fiance. Goes crazy, and that happens, right?
It's crazy.
My other uncle, her oldest son, was a heroin addict for a long period of time. He's probably the smartest person I've ever met in real life. Like, he was a sound engineer in Oregon in, like, the 80s and early 90s, and he traveled with Sir Mix a lot and Guns N' Roses and all these people, and just ruined his life because of heroin.
Yeah. Well, and you're with the Guns N' Roses. I mean,
Yeah,
you're gonna fuck up your life.
You'd think some of those things, right? And then my other uncle was just so much of an alcoholic, and, like, did some meth and all other stuff. Like, he's probably like 55 and might not make it through the year.
Wow.
And it's just like, at the end of the day, right? Like, that's a pretty bad track record from a child standpoint. So you got to
Fuck
go,
yeah.
What's the common denominator here? It's my grandma.
Right.
And why her intentions are good, she just okayed and bailed out every time something went wrong. You know what I mean? So there was never a lesson learned. And that's, I think, the problem with the kids now is, like, every generation wants their kid's life to be a little easier than theirs was. And it's coming from a good place.
Right.
There is the people that are just, like, lazy and want to let their kids be raised by computers or TV or whatever, right? But I think for the most part, what's created where we're at was good intentions. Like that's part of the problem. Was like,
Well, and let's point out, because we're throwing out a lot of sensitive stuff here.
yeah,
But let's point out, the world is way better than it was 10 years ago.
yeah, man, it's,
50 years ago, like 100 years ago.
yeah, it's silly to be like, oh, the world's a terrible place. I'm like,
There was one thing I was reading on Twitter, and this is the stuff I unfollow, when they go, the world has gotten so bad, America in particular has gotten so bad that we need to do something. We need to stand up and do something together. And I'm thinking to myself, hold on. 50 years ago or 100 years ago, we had slaves.
yeah,
Let's fucking relax, bro.
yeah, pump it.
Like, there used to be a bathroom just for black people, and they couldn't use the water
Yeah.
fountain as white people. Like, that was a person ago. Your grandmother probably knew about that.
Well, that's funny that you said that. I've been on this new kick with my grandma. Like, our relationship is, I'm trying, from her end, it's always kind of been good.
Right.
On my end, I've been, personally trying to repair it because I harbor some resentment. And every time I talk to her, it's always like drama or what's going on with my uncle or what's going on with my sister, or, what they need. I'm just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
You guys usually only call me when you need something.
Well, a large part of your childhood was not the positive
Yeah.
with her, so it's like...
Yeah, she was still always kind of like, she was like my closest to my mom as it could be, and there was a good relationship there. But as I got older and I started realizing, like, this is not, like, I knew as a young age, like, I didn't want to be like anybody in my family. Like, after my mom passed away, I always say I was like 6 because that's older when my mom was when my mom died, but I don't know the exact age. But I was like, yeah, man, none of this is for me.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, like all of this. Like, I'm not like any of these people.
And some people, by the way, could have easily looked at that and said, oh, okay, I'm just going to be a method for the rest of my life.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you could have easily went a different route.
Could have not only to easily went a different route, would have been like supported. Like, people would have been like, oh, it's because of this.
It makes sense.
Oh, we get it. Instead of just
Yeah.
being like, stop making fucking excuses, you little bitch. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
what happened to you. Your life is still your life.
Just do it. Right.
Yeah, figure it out.
Yeah.
And so as I started becoming more and more that minded, it pulled me further and further away from my grandma. My family as a whole, really, but the one that I cared about mostly is my grandma. So,
Right.
I had maybe like 3 weeks ago, a month ago or something, we had like a pretty serious phone call, which kind of sucks because she's not going to be around much longer. And I was just like, dude, like, I can't hear anything else about my sister. Like, I don't care what my Uncle Joel's doing. Because the reality of it is you're just trying to make them sound good, and they're done.
Opa.
It's empty. Like,
Enjoy the ride.
I know that sounds really like, and it's like, I know they're not doing good, and I know what you're doing, and stop it.
It's about you now.
Yeah. It's like, I'm like, Grandma, they're not doing good. I'm glad that you love them. I go, but I'm doing good.
Right.
I'm like, let's talk about me.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Because you're trying to get away from the negative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to have this relationship with you, but you're making it really difficult on me because I can't
Right.
continue to keep hearing this. And so, I had a conversation about what led me to how I'm feeling as a whole, from like, basically, because when I went to live with my dad, I was like 12, and it was, my grandma was just like straight up like, hey, I can't take care of you and your sister. So she picked my sister over me. Like, I'm cool with it, right? Because it worked out in my benefit. I always said, like, I don't want to be like any of these people. And if I hadn't gotten away from everybody
Kind of motivate you.
and kind of got on my own, I may have never been able to do it, right? Like, who knows?
Yeah.
So it was better for me. And I explained that to her too. I'm like, you did the right, like, that was a difficult choice maybe, and you may not have made it for the right choices or whatever, but it worked out in my favor. So
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that. But now it's like, you have 2, great grandkids, you have all this different thing. Like, you could be more of a part of the life, but you're so caught up in letting
In the past.
your oldest son and my sister, like, drag you down. Like, this is your last, you got no much time left.
Yeah.
Like, enjoy it. And so we went through that, like, it got pretty, like, intense, and then we kind of stopped and we started talking more, and she kind of told me a couple stories that I was like, oh, see, that was good.
That was worth it.
Yeah, and so now we're on this,
Kind of good journey to...
Yeah, she'll call me and tell me stories. Like, yesterday she called me and she's like, you said you wanted a couple jokes. I was like, it's not what I said, but okay. And she was like, well, she's like, I can remember this one time, she was talking about her mom, and like, she was they were doing like the twist, you know, the chubby checker dance. And I guess she like fell through over the couch and like through the plate glass window. She's like, that was super funny to me. I'm like, I don't know how to make that into joke form, Grandma.
Yeah. We might have to spice things up a bit, but
Yeah, right. I gotta figure out a way to do this. And then she told me another story that she was at my Uncle Joel's house in Missouri, and she had to take a shit, and my uncle was in the bathroom, and apparently like she couldn't hold it. It was like diarrhea.
yeah.
So my uncle's wife got her a plastic bag and held it for her
Oh my God.
while she shit herself in this plastic bag and then wiped it. She asked me not to use her name, so I didn't, but it's still my grandma, so people figure it out.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, dude, I was like, well, no wonder you love Holly. That's my Uncle Joel's wife. I'm like, you
Yeah.
should, like, if they get divorced, like, Uncle Joel's gone, Holly, like, she wiped her ass. Like,
Right.
I wouldn't have done that, Grandma. I love you.
No.
I wouldn't. Like, I'm sorry.
That's a bond that,
It's not something we share.
no.
I
I don't even know if I would do that with my wife. Like, I love my wife to death, but
I would do it with my wife.
would you?
Yeah, it's different. Like, there's a different kind of love.
Well,
It'd be
we've only
weird.
been married a year, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, it'd be weird. And
What do you think is the magic number of months that I would let her almost shit my hand? 18 months?
maybe at least. Yeah.
Okay.
For me, it was a little bit different, right? Because I'm not I don't love a lot of people.
Right. Yeah.
So when I do love, it's it's pretty unconditional.
That's a big deal, yeah.
Yeah. But I think part of mine is like I'm starting to come to terms really. You know, people are like, some people are prejudiced, some people are racist. They have their opinions, all that. And we talked about it earlier in the episode. Like, I'm super open minded. I'm super laid back. I'm really learning after living in Florida for all these years. Like, I don't like old people that much. Like,
No.
I'm genuinely like prejudiced against old people. Like, it pisses me. Like, if I see someone in the car driving, I'm like, fucking old bitch.
Uh-huh.
Like, I see an old dude like taking his time. Like, I get it. Like, I can put myself in their shoes. I understand. Like, if I was older, but I don't like you.
Yeah.
I don't like your attitude. You're probably a shitty person based on today's standards. You think something's owed to you, and you're fucking creepy, man. Like,
Yeah.
you just look old.
And you smell weird.
Yeah, I get it. We're all gonna be old.
Right.
Totally dig it. But back in the day, like, when people got to a certain age, you got shipped off on a fucking iceberg.
Yeah.
Best of luck. And I know that sounds harsh, but
And you're out.
now people are living to 100, 120. Like, this is fucking insane. You can't live this long.
And by the way, they're driving at that age
Yeah.
too, at 90 and 95.
People-
like, get the
peop-
fuck out of here.
I travel. I've been to pretty much every state, and I travel now some for work. And people are like, every city's like the worst traffic, right, or the worst driving, or this and the other. I'm sorry, man, but unfortunately, you just can't fuck with Florida, and more specifically, South Florida. Like, Hialeah is the worst place on the planet to drive, like, by insurance standards.
Oh, yeah.
It's god awful because we get people either from, like, old people from upstate New York or from New York City that have never driven and always taken public transportation, now driving. Like, fuck off.
Or their, like, first car was, like, the Ford T. Like, the very
Yeah,
first one.
and they haven't driven since then.
Right.
And now they're on the highway.
Right.
Or we get people from other countries that just drive completely different, and you're just like, Jesus.
It's like, bro, not on the left side of the road, on the right
Yeah,
side
yeah.
in America.
Or
But-
it's just like, if you go to like Central South America, something like the traffic is just, it flows and it looks terrifying.
Yeah.
And if I was there, I'd fuck up their system.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, it just is what it is.
It's brutal.
So Florida's like that mix of all of it. But
And what do you think about, because you just talk about Miami, so it reminded me. So you went from everywhere, but you ended
Yep.
up in Orlando, then you went back down to South Florida, and then back to Orlando again.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you can compare, I know you're in Orlando now, but if you can compare Orlando and Miami, aside from the traffic, like, what do you think about the culture? What's the most fun? Where to be? What do you like the most?
So it's perspective to where you're at in your life. So when I went to
Right.
Miami, it was kind of, so when I started out,
Like when you were with Tim, that was
the peak, man. It was fucking, dude.
Yeah,
It was
that was
like,
peak.
it was literally one of the best times of my whole life.
that was in Lauderdale, though, right? Weren't you?
Yeah, which is, we were Hollywood, which is kind of the perfect spot because
Yeah.
you're like 15 minutes from downtown Fort Lauderdale, 25 minutes without traffic from downtown Miami, maybe
Well, and
30
Fort
from South
Lauderdale
Beach.
now is like a cheap South Florida, South
Yeah,
Miami.
It's fucking great.
I mean, it's
It's
fantastic.
not even cheap anymore.
Oh, really? Yeah, I haven't
dude,
been
it's-
down there in a
yeah,
while.
it's getting crazy.
Yeah.
But when I first got to Hollywood, I was in Orlando. I had taken a contracting position with Living Social when they first started.
Yep.
And I helped them launch in a few cities, and then that kind of went out. I couldn't find a job, and I went to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
It's my buddy Gene. He lives in Atlanta.
Right.
and got a job working for Socia Media up there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I shouldn't have had the job.
Right.
It was way more than what I like.
It was a lot.
The pay was ridiculous. Like I got
Yeah.
paid crazy amounts of money.
You definitely didn't deserve it.
Yeah, no, man.
Yeah.
I was a regional sales director for like the whole South.
Jesus.
And there was like people twice my age working from like, this is stupid. I shouldn't be doing this.
Is that why they're out of business? Because of people like you?
Probably. But for me, I was also, it was like it took me 2 hours to get to work and 2 hours to get home.
Wow.
Traffic was a nightmare. And because I didn't know what I was doing, like I had to do a lot of work when I got home, making reports and doing this other shit.
Right.
Because I'm really competitive and like I'm good at sales and I can teach people how to sell, but I can't. Like all the other stuff I just didn't know how to do. And I didn't want to hear it from like the reps that were working with me, you know what I mean? So I wanted to be on my shit.
Yeah.
Like 2 months in, I get to work at like 7:30, 8 o'clock. And apparently I fell out like 8:30. I had like I forget like the term, but it was like basically like a minor aneurysm.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I woke up in the CAT scan machine, which like
Jesus, bro.
it freaked out the tech. The doc was like,
What are you doing?
yeah, man. And I'm claustrophobic, so it freaked me out too. I was like, well, what the fuck? Get me out of here. And he was like, yeah, you shouldn't, like, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
But you had like my aneurysm. They actually had to go in. I have like still have like a little hole in my head because I never went back to the doctor after. Yeah, I know.
Jesus.
Yeah, man, it's not the smartest thing, right?
No wonder you went into comedy.
Yeah. This is sort of my life is a cartoon.
Yeah.
And this was like right before Thanksgiving, and Xavier hadn't moved to Atlanta with me yet. He was still with his mom, so I hadn't seen him in a couple months.
Which was down in Florida?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was still in Orlando. And so I told the doctor, I was like, well, when can I check out? He's like, dude, we got to keep you for a few days. Like, we got to monitor and do this stuff. So I was like, I can't do that, man. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, I got to go see my son. Like, it's Thanksgiving. He's like, okay, like, I understand what you're saying, but you may not be able to see him. Like, I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Like, I woke up, it's fine. So I legit, like, checked myself at the hospital. I've never been back to it for it since, but everything seems fine.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. And I saw my son in Orlando and just kind of being back. I was like, dude, I can't do Atlanta. Like, so basically
it's
from
rough.
Thanksgiving, went to Orlando, drove back to Atlanta, called Richie, who was still in the business. He started opened up an office down there and was like, what's up, bro? Like, let's get it. Let's get it, you know? Drove back down to Miami and drove to Miami like the next day, I think.
Moved on your
straight
ship.
through. Yeah, like everything could fit my car and was just like, fuck it.
I'm out.
It sucked, dude. The
It's
business
so
took
bad.
Yeah, dude, the business took a real bad turn too.
Yeah.
Like I did okay, like I made some money, but it like in between that and starting with Groupon,
Yeah.
shit got bad.
Yeah.
Like living like a crack house. Like my house wasn't a crack house, but like next door.
Sure.
Like for sure it was. Like lost my car, didn't have it. Like I had to like there was the 1 year my son lived with his mom. Like I had to send him he went to Orlando for the summer and I was like, yo, you gotta keep him for the school year. Like this is just not a place for him right now.
Yeah. It's just a different world. I mean, it's not all Kim Kardashian as everyone thinks. Like it's a different.
It's not. It has its bad parts, but it was more of like for me, it was just more poor planning, you know, kind of things, and I had to dig myself out of that hole, and it took about 2.5 years or so to really get out of it, and that's when I started with Groupon, and I was working from home, and so it went from like really terrible experience to now, I'm starting to get my feet under me. My son's, I got my son back. Richie and I lived together in one house for about a year.
Yeah.
And then the house next door, this guy bought it and was remodeling it. And I was like, hey man, are you going to rent that house? And so we just built this relationship like as he was doing it. And so he remodeled this house and we got like a pretty decent 3-bedroom in Hollywood for like $1,200.
Yeah.
And then Tim moved in.
Yeah, I remember that. It was a good spot.
Bro. So Richie lives next door to us. It's me and Tim in the house. It's my son and the guy's daughter. Dude, it was like being in college again, except we had money and we could kind of do what we wanted. Like,
right.
It was so great.
Yeah.
And that's also like when I started like just trying to better myself with my weight loss and all those other things. So the summer before I met my wife, my son was with his mom again for like the first time since he was there when he was like second grade. And this was, going into middle school.
Mm-hmm.
And, bro, I killed it. Like there was at that point in time, there was not a better place in the world to me. Like, I was between Fort Lauderdale, Miami. I went out pretty much every night. I was working from home. I was making probably like, honestly, $7 to $10 grand a month, which was like stupid based on my bills.
Yeah.
And I just was working out great. I was feeling good. Like, I had almost a 6-pack.
That was the peak.
I was like, yeah, dude, I was like 215 lean.
Ooh.
I was slaying pussy.
Mm-hmm.
I was just killing it. And just getting every club, like doing every, like I tried all the drugs I never tried, and
Right.
just had like a really, really fucking,
That's the American dream.
yeah, man, a great time.
Yeah.
I honestly think that people need some sort of that at one point or time, right?
Totally.
But it just, you gotta be able to come back from it, and some people can't, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. The problem is like that's like saying everyone needs to go parasailing because it's beautiful, and
Yeah.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, but some people are gonna fall out.
Some people die.
yeah, I almost fell out of that bitch. I took Xavier when he was like 6.
No
I was a
shit.
client for Living Social out of Disney.
Fuck
You
that.
fucking strap me in tight enough. The entire ride, I'm holding myself in with my arms, and this is when I was heavier, and I'm not like the strongest person.
Right.
Dude, it was fucking brutal. By the time I got out, my arms were like, yeah. And they're like, what happened? I was like, yeah, you guys didn't get me in here tight.
Bro, did you see that video of there was one dude that went parasailing, I forget where it was over, but it was like over mountains or cliffs or something. And
Oh, yes. And he was just like hanging on.
he was hanging on because they literally didn't strap him in.
Fuck that.
So he's hanging on the
hang
entire
gliding
way.
thing.
Yeah.
Bro,
And then
that's fucking nuts.
yeah, and then like
It was like a solid 5 minutes or something, right?
yeah, it was the whole video, like they had to time lapse it because it was so long. He was hanging on for dear life. And then I think right at the end when they were about to land, because obviously they figured it out and they're like, oh shit, we got to get
Yeah.
down. So then right when he landed, he's like 100 feet off the ground and he
That's when I had
dropped.
to let go, yeah.
He like broke both
And
his
hang-
legs
yeah,
or something,
like-
but yeah.
But could have, God, dude, there's no.
Could you imagine that?
Yeah, I can, because that's kind of my kind of luck. That's why I don't do that shit anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I have this like inherent, like, the worst luck you could ever imagine, piled with like really crazy, amazing luck.
Yeah.
So there's no middle ground. It's either just like complete shit or like, holy hell, did this
Yeah.
just happen? Like, I can't believe how lucky I am.
But
There's
I
no
think you're right.
middle area.
I think you're right though. I think everyone needs to kind of get that fun time. And
Sow
whether
their
it's
oats.
right, whether it's like I mean, you got to live boats and hose mentality
Yeah.
for a little bit.
Yeah, dude, it's necessary.
You just have to kind of get out of your system because if you don't, then you're going to end up, feeling yourself with regret. And I think that
Regret's brutal, dude.
regret's rough, yeah.
It's as bad as it gets.
And career, I mean, you did a good amount of shit where you can now probably look at yourself and say, I know what I'm going to do. I know I want to do this stand-up comedy thing. But if you didn't go through the journey you went through, you wouldn't realize that all that bullshit that you did. You may have learned a lot, but you're at the point now where you know exactly what you want. And I think people don't even get there sometimes.
Yeah. I wish that was the case.
You don't even know what you want now?
No, man. No, it's fucking hard. I don't understand how people do it. Like,
Yeah, I know what I want.
see, like, I know
Yeah.
what I want. Because it's what I want is so, it's different. Like, I have what I want, which is
Right.
weird, right? Like, I've always just wanted a family.
That's just something that people with kids say, though, bro.
Yeah, no, dude, I get that aspect. And we talked about it. Like, dude, if you don't want kids, like, people don't want
Yeah.
kids, I'm never going to be the person who's like, gotta have them.
Right.
Nah, man, I get it.
Well, it's like people that
It's a lot of fun not having kids, dude. No
well,
doubt.
Well, it's people that aren't married. Like, I have a bunch of buddies that just got engaged.
Yeah.
And then I have friends that are like dating people.
Yeah. And you're like, get married.
And they're like, no, they go, bro, like how great is married life? And I go, I mean, it's the same.
Yeah,
I
more or
think.
less.
But I wouldn't do it. Like, don't get married. I tell my friends, I'm like, don't get married, bro.
See, dude, that's
Like you're not ready to, because again, if you're thinking about,
if you know your friends, like that can be
Right.
fair advice.
but if you know that you're not really sure if you want to get married or not,
Yeah, yeah. You should
because that's what they're saying. Like, should I get married? And I'm like,
Oh,
don't get
fuck
married.
No.
Don't get
Not a
married.
chance.
Why
Don't
would
do
you?
it at all.
Yeah,
I tell people, I knew the day I met my wife.
100%.
Like, it was just no.
I was the same way.
I told her, like, you're stuck with me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I was still living in South Florida. She was living in Orlando. Like, we met in October. Between October and when I proposed in May, moved up to Orlando by June. That entire time frame, I think we missed 2 weekends, whether I was either in Orlando or she was down there. Then got married the following January. Like,
Yeah.
it was just, and it wasn't one of those things where one wanted it more than the other, which was nice. It was like we both,
Love it first sight type of
yeah,
thing.
yeah. And the feelings were like extremely mutual. So
And that shit's rare too, for sure.
it is. But if you talk to people that have been married for a long time, every guy I've talked to, that's been truly married for a long time, like it's something along those lines to where it just clicked for them.
Yeah.
And
there's also some people that are with that person for, 18 months and they really figure each other out. Like that's kind of how Brenda and I were, where we knew this was going to be something.
Yep.
But we kind of tested the waters a little bit. We were together for, I think, 2 years before on our 2-year anniversary, I proposed.
That's smart. Though.
Yeah. But again, like there was girls that I was with before that like 3 years in, it was like, it felt like it was the thing, but it didn't feel like that. Though.
Yeah, just because you're supposed to.
Right.
It's more of like an obligation.
Right. It was it's hard to explain. Every time someone asks me about it, it's like, it's one of those things where it's cliche to say, but you'll know when you know.
Yeah.
It's so true, though.
It's 100% that, though.
Yeah.
It really is. And like, as you get older, you start thinking like back to all the advice and different shit you got when you were a kid. And you're just like,
Right.
fuck, they were right about so many things. It's like
everything.
so annoying.
Everything. About saving money.
Yeah,
about,
man. Well, I mean, my family didn't teach me much of that shit.
Yeah.
Mine was more of like, you're going to have kids and they're going to do this dumb shit too.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
it
too.
was like they were happy about it. Like, you're going to be fucked. I'm like,
Yeah.
In your face, my kid's way better than I was. Like, he's never been in trouble.
I showed you.
Yeah, showed you how to raise a child. 'Cause you didn't know,
Yeah.
sons of bitches. Yeah, it was funny, man.
That is weird, though. Like, everything your parents tell you, always, like, take it with a grain of salt. But then as you get older, you start to realize,
Yep.
fuck, man, like, there was a lot of things I could have done differently. But I feel like if I could go back in time and repeat stuff, I wouldn't, because it's true what they say about the troubles that you deal with really make you the person who you are.
I agree.
And again, sometimes people can handle that and it makes you better, and then other people just give up and, it makes their life worse.
Yeah.
But I think a
100%.
vast majority of people kind of look at the negatives and the struggle, and, I strongly believe if you live in the ghetto and you can get through that,
Yep.
you're going to be a better person than I will ever be, because I've never dealt with that.
Yep.
So I think if you can handle that and you can get through that and be a better person, you're a way better person than me.
Yeah, that's that's one of those things that me and my wife, where we get along in a lot of scenarios, and we're very different, but we mesh well, kind of like a yin and yang type thing.
Right.
But she didn't grow up in anything like I grew up, right?
Right.
And so, early on in our marriage, it wasn't easy. Like, I went through like the real bout with depression and couldn't find a job, and money was tight and all these things. And to me, a lot of that stuff, I'm like, this isn't that bad.
Yeah.
I've been through way worse. For her, it was the worst fucking time in her entire life.
Right.
And it was hard for me to understand that. So it was like it took compromise on both parts, to where for me, I had to understand that just because this isn't a big deal for me, because I've been through way worse. Yeah,
For her, it's-
there's a lot of shit that I went through that most people aren't going to go through. So you need to be compassionate to how it is for her, and vice versa for her. I've been good for her to realize,
Totally.
some of these things aren't that big of a deal, and I can kind of take the step back and relax a little bit.
Right.
And so it's like that good mesh. But yeah, man, I mean, trying to become an adult is hard. I never had any guidance, right? Like,
Yeah.
I still don't know how to, like, I don't know even, like, it's like there's a premise I'm working on in terms of like a joke where it's like, I don't know how to be an adult, right? Like, I was good till about 32.
Right.
Because it's pretty much the same through then, right? Like, I was raising my son, it was just me and him. Like, I curated kind of a perfect life for us that fit what we like to do and all those different things. And then I'm like 32, like, shit starts happening. Like, your body starts falling apart.
Oh, for sure.
I had some like crazy hemorrhoids, like all these different things. Like, dude, I got worse. Dude, my hemorrhoids are so bad. Not like the painful kind, fortunately. Like, sometimes they itch like internal, I just bleed a lot, which freaks my wife out.
I feel like that's way worse.
Yeah, you think? As
I'd
long as-
rather see something.
I don't know, man.
It's
I
like-
don't want to sit on it, dude. That's
Yeah,
supposed
that's
to be pretty
true.
bad.
But it's like, you ever get like an itch,
Yeah,
and you don't know what it is?
Oh, so fucking bad.
But then, like, if I have a mosquito bite
Yeah, you can see it.
and I see it and it itches, I'm like, all right, it's a mosquito bite. But if I don't know what it is, I'm like, did I get bit by a fucking spider in the middle of the night? Like, am I going to turn to a superhero? I don't know what's going on. I
I know what it is. I just can't see it. It's like,
Yeah.
I can feel that itch. It's real uncomfortable, but I know where I have to go to get it. And I'm just like, I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. And then aside from that, just like planning for your future and doing all these different things, I just didn't have. Like, you kidding me? Like, no one in my family has a retirement plan.
Right.
You like the
Yeah.
retirement plans, your Social Security, and fucking figuring it out.
Yeah.
At best.
And we ain't going to have that shit. So
Yeah, and
we
so
need to figure it out.
I'm just like, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah.
It's like all trial and error. And where I used to be like, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, it'll be fine, but it's really me telling myself, like, dude, calm down, it'll be fine. Like, where before I was like, really like, it'll be fine.
It'll be good.
I was
You're
like-
just kind of like, and I,
Now it's like, it'll be fine. Everything's fine.
Deep down, you're crying.
It's okay. I know how to be a man, I swear. I gotta raise 2 of these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
What I'm doing.
But everyone has that mentality now where they're just like, yeah, it'll be good. Like even I did an episode for my birthday when I turned 34. And
Damn, you're young, huh?
yeah, I'm young as fuck. And I look 12, which is great.
That does work out.
Yeah. But I had this episode I pretty much talked about like the past 12 months has been very eye-opening for a lot of reasons. You know, obviously starting the podcast, but you know, buying the second home, and we're renting out the one in Orlando that we have. So just like, but all the stuff that's coming together now, everyone's like, hey, how'd you do it? And I was like, what do you mean, dude? Like, I just
did it.
Yeah, but I fucked up for 30 years, and in the last 4 or 5, I pretty much buckled down and did research, and I did what I had to do to now I'm reaping the benefits. Like, it's nothing, like, you can do it at 25. You could do it at 40. You just have to figure out what you got to do and be responsible and do it. And it's interesting how my mindset changed just the past 4 years.
Yeah, like hitting that 30 mark makes
I
kind
think
of
that's
a
what
difference.
it is. Yeah, it's weird. Once you hit there, it's not only do the hemorrhoids start, but you know, everything else starts to.
You just kind of mature.
Right.
I hit like that peak at like they say like 32, and then got hurt and kind of like reverted.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, get your shit together, man.
Right.
Got an actual family now too. Like
totally, yeah.
Tighten up, learn how to do some things. Like start figuring out like a retirement plan, do these different pieces, and it does. Like you said, it just takes some research and effort, and you know, making it a priority. Like most things, like if you make it a priority to yourself, you'll fix it.
Yeah, and also, I mean, like what you're doing. Like that's why I really wanted to have you on. Is I like what you're doing. I mean, at your age, which really there's no wrong age to do things. Like people think, you know, I can't start working out because I'm too old, or I can't start playing ball. I'm too old. There's kids that are 21 that are on the court. Like, but you're starting comedy at an older age because you started doing it and you like it, so you're pursuing it. And a lot of people don't do that shit, especially at your age.
Yeah,
so that's pretty huge.
I look at it like there's like a couple examples. Like for me, I'm the type of person like I just need an example.
Right.
Like I may
just
not
one.
Yeah, I may not be the first. Like I try to be like a trendsetter, or I try to be an early adapter. I really like I want, you know, that kind of brain, or that I like to think I have that in me.
Right.
But I don't know if I do. But if I can, at least one person's done it.
Yeah.
I'm delusional enough to be like, I could do that.
I could do it. Yeah.
Like I don't.
Yeah.
I could. I just got to do it. And you know, like guys like Joey Diaz and these guys who are just fucking geniuses, right? They started super late. I'm like,
oh, dude,
if he can do it, I can do it.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, fucking kidding. Like, this is night and day on differences of the people. Don't get it twisted.
Diaz is an animal.
Yeah. It's just, but I kind of treated it like that, like if I could, and I'm taking it, you know, day by day. Most things in my life I take, like I hate the process.
Right.
It's something that I'm working on within myself, is learning to enjoy the process, because I found, like even when I went through my weight loss, and all these different things, like I like to finish a project. I like things to be done. I don't like to start something if I can't finish it. Like
totally, yeah.
It's almost a hindrance for me. I'll use that as an excuse of like not getting this done because I can't get it done in the time I need to.
Right.
I went through the depression piece and still deal with it on a, you know, pretty regular basis. Like it's if you're going through it and you know you're going through it.
Right. You have to be aware of it.
And you do nothing about it except complain about it. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I just don't feel bad for you.
Yeah.
Because I've been through it. I get that it's difficult. I get that those pieces, and it can feel helpless and feel lost and feel all these things. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
But there are ways to make it better. There are ways to fix it. There are steps that can be taken.
For sure.
And it's, you know, people don't want to take them. And when it's the people that say like, oh, I'm this, and they don't do anything about it, I have a hard time believing them, because I've been that.
Right.
And it's the most desperate, bottom of the barrel place I've ever been, and never want to go back, and would do anything to get out of it.
And was there anybody that helped you, or was it just something you did on your own?
Yeah, no, my wife was
just
a huge part of all of that. I mean, it definitely helps to have you know, some sort of support system in that regard.
Yeah. But again, if you only surround yourself with people that
care about you and you know, love you, like it's in the same with my friends, man. Like my friends, when I could talk to them if I needed to.
Yeah.
You know, like we can talk to Richie. I could talk to Tim. I could talk to my buddy Gene. Like, these are all things that, you know, if you have a good core friendship, obviously I wish we all lived together, right? Like we all wish we're in the same town, or
Yeah, of course.
it would be better. But with the world we have today, it's not too hard to stay in contact with people, and it's not difficult. So
Yeah, which people talk shit about social media, but man, that's
there's
fucking
some awesome benefits to it. There really is. Like
it's really great.
It's done some amazing things, and
Well, dude, my wife's from Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico.
okay.
She could FaceTime with her family. She can post something about our anniversary on Facebook, and her family
Yep.
that barely has Wi-Fi can fucking see this.
It's
kind of a cool thing.
Dude, super cool. And
Yeah.
you think about when we were kids, like I keep forgetting. I thought for the last 2 weeks I was 38, but I think I'm 37. I'm 37.
Yeah.
I mean, we dreamed about a phone with a camera in it. We're just like, get the fuck.
It's
and now it's
crazy, man.
I fucking don't even use FaceTime. Like if someone FaceTimes me, I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, what's happening?
But most everybody else uses it now. Like
Right.
my kid, my son, he's like, that's what they do.
Or like Marco Polo, that's the
Yeah.
thing now.
Like
Yeah.
I just want to call.
Yeah.
I just want to talk to you on the phone.
Yeah.
I'm Joey D's in that regard too. Like I'm the friend that if you text me, I'm probably gonna call you.
You fucking cocksucker.
Yeah, you fucking cocksucker. Dude, it's a lost start.
So before we cut off, what were we talking about?
Which time? I fucking don't, dude. I have no idea.
So I could try to edit it back in.
Yeah, this is this is gonna be a fucking bitch to edit, dude.
Oh, I'm just gonna
It is
scrap this whole thing.
Yeah, it's so all over the
Yeah.
place.
I don't even think I'm recording, so fuck it.
I just wanted you to come hang
I
out.
just wanted you to come out, you cocksucker.
Cocksucker.
But yeah, I think the one thing we were talking about was right before you went outside. I think we were talking about that. Oh, so okay, so we talked about living in South Florida.
Yeah,
That's a different planet. It's like an alien
it is.
life form.
It is 100% like from. It used to be from like the Dade County line down.
Right.
It can be from the Broward County line, honestly, even Palm Beach, right? Because it's not as crazy. It's just like a different sector of people. You got the Palm Beach people who are like old money, live on that beach. Like they're
Right.
kind of the worst type of person.
For sure.
And then like Boca, like has a specific like Boca girl. Like that
That's
might as
a
well
thing.
be in a dictionary. Like
Right.
if you live in Florida and I say that, you know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And then Broward now has become like Dade North. It's like the younger, like it's like if the older brother went crazy and like he's doing okay, but he made his money in like clubs and drugs.
Right.
Like the younger brother was like, I'm gonna make money too, but I'm gonna be like a lawyer, but I'll still do drugs.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
it's just like it's a whole other world.
I mean, let's put it this way: if this whole global warming, climate change, and the polar ice caps actually end up melting, if they take out Miami, it won't be the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, I mean, dude,
As long as Richie and them move up,
yeah,
I think we're okay.
You know, you obviously don't want anybody to die, but sometimes
No,
people need
no.
to. Yeah, you know,
Yeah, of course, never
Um,
want people to die. No.
it's a really awesome place for the right time.
Right.
You know, like
It's definitely timing. Yeah.
yeah, it is. Timing's important in a lot of things, but you know, Miami can be really awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I was
That's
down in
fun.
Fort Lauderdale for a couple of years, and I mean, I loved it. You know, I had a great time.
Yeah, it was good.
But yeah, if I went down there now, I wouldn't be able.
No, I wouldn't want to raise a family down there.
No.
Like, when I met my wife and she was living in Orlando, it wasn't even like a discussion on,
Yeah.
hey, are you going to move down here or am I going to move up there? I was like, no, I'll move up here.
Yeah, totally.
And
And are
even
you guys
then,
and you're liking Orlando? Being
Yeah,
back up there and everything.
it's good, man.
Yeah.
If to be honest, like if both of us had our way, we would, and it probably will. Like after my oldest graduates, which is
Mm-hmm.
fucking 3 years away, so crazy.
That's nice.
Move to more of like a rural, North Carolina, Tennessee, maybe back
Sure.
out west, something like that. Because
Sure.
I just, as I've gotten older, the way I grew up seems more and more appealing. Like being on the farm and all those things, to where
Right.
for the longest time I wanted to get away from it, do the city life, and I did. You know,
That's great. Yeah. What else is
for
there?
several times, you know.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, I hate traffic. I'll
Yeah.
do almost anything to avoid it.
I got to tell you though, bro. Tampa.
Oh, dude, Tampa's stepping it up, man. I used to fucking hate Tampa. It was
Well,
such a shithole back in
I
the
don't know
day.
if you remember. So when we left Orlando, I helped Kirky open his spot
Oh, here?
in Tampa.
Yeah, I helped Timmy open his here.
That's right. Yeah. So, I mean, I was out here probably for, I don't know, 2 years, and I stayed a little bit afterwards and eventually made my way back to Orlando. But, dude, ever since then, I mean, this was 8 years ago. So now it's changed drastically.
God.
But, I mean, now you got St. Pete, you got Clearwater stepping up.
Dude, it's come a long ways. Like,
Dude, Clearwater and St. Pete has been voted the number one beach in the country 2 years in a row. That's madness.
But it really is like it's such a
gorgeous.
good beach.
It's
yeah,
perfect.
like the sand, because I hate sand, right? Like I love the ocean.
Right.
Like I'd be really happy if it was like grass,
Yeah.
like just grass,
Grass to the ocean.
even seaweed, right? Like seaweed into the ocean, like if it's not wet. Like
You digging the seaweed? I'm not a fan.
I take it over sand.
Do you really?
Yeah, because I mean I can at least get the seaweed out of places. It's just like sand's like fucking everywhere forever.
That's true.
It was like 2 weeks after the beach. You're like, what the fuck is in my eye? God.
That's so true.
But yeah, no, they've done a good job. But dude, 8 years ago, Tampa was the worst. Like,
Oh, it's horrible.
like when the market dropped, like Florida in general, Central Florida especially, took a massive hit in like that 06, 07 market bubble.
Yeah,
like
dude.
the housing market, there was just empty neighborhoods, empty half-built houses and shit for the longest time. Like
Crazy.
it's finally just now becoming
Yeah.
back on track, and like the
One of-
construction, all those other pieces.
Yeah, and if you were smart enough to hang on to your house and you could afford it, like my dad, when he's had his house for 20 years, it's long and paid off, but he got that house for like 75 G's.
Yeah, that's
He got it reappraised. Thing's $500,000.
yeah. Or you could be like me, which the only time I bought a house was like 2 months before like the main bubble popped.
Of course.
And I lost like $200,000, literally like in 2 or 3 months. I was like, this seems about right.
So this is what it's like. Okay.
Yeah. This is what getting fucked with that loop is like. I don't. It's not good.
This is Raw Dog. All right, cool.
Yeah. It was bad, but it's just one of those pieces. Again, it's like one of those things that just gives you stories, right? Like, there's so many things that happen. And you're just like, why is this happening? And
Well,
then
in your
later
case
you're
in
like, fuck.
particular, yeah, it's like, well, this is just great material now.
Yeah, right. Everything.
Yeah, it just worked out well.
It's now it's just a point of almost like I have so much back material,
Right.
like life, that it's hard sometimes to, when I'm writing material, to
Cypher.
be topical.
Right. That makes
Sometimes
sense.
like just being topical is just like, yeah, this is kind of funny, but shoot, this story from them.
Yeah.
And then trying to take that and make an open mic is difficult. And that's where I struggled at first, was trying to tell these elaborate stories and make them funny in 5 minutes. It's just not possible.
Right. Well, it's like you look at a guy like Sebastian, right? Sebastian is the man, but his whole story, you know, the Italian guy from.
Yeah.
So his whole story is pretty much based on him being Italian from,
Yeah.
you know, Jersey. But if you watched him like open mic, it wouldn't make sense.
No, because you couldn't. You
He's
just couldn't get
built-
that. So it's almost like you have to, like, for
Yeah.
me, what I try to explain, like, it's almost like I'm developing a special. Like I already have. It's like I have a special already
Right.
in my brain.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, putting it down on paper, working it out hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, like really trying it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just because it's in my brain doesn't mean it's necessarily special. It's funny.
Totally. Yeah.
But I have enough material in there. It's just as I get better and hone my skills to make that material right, that if I ever did get far enough into comedy to where like, hey, you're gonna do a special, hey, I need to build an hour of time,
Right.
I can make that happen. And in the meantime, I'm getting my chops wet. I'm practice shots and all these other things by
Right.
trying to be topical, trying to do occasionally fitting in, you know, the life stories in with some topical stuff, and finding a way to condense them and make them funny in a short period of time.
Totally.
And it's
like you can't ride a wave without getting on the surfboard.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
you're just kind of you're popping up. You're filling out the water.
It
You
really,
know, you're
yeah.
really just kind of getting the groove of thing. And what's the end game though? What are you thinking? Is it too soon to even think about that stuff, or are you just kind of?
I mean, maybe I don't know. Like, if there's necessarily is an end game. Like, one of the things that you did, like, who I am versus who like I probably should, or who I really am, versus like me making a better version of myself. I know like who I am, and sometimes it's not right. Like, be yourself, right? Be authentic yourself. But
Totally,
if your authentic self is a lazy sack of shit,
Be someone else.
find a middle ground, you know. And that's sort of like sort of who I am, man. Like, really, the reality, like it's a constant effort and constant, you know, purpose to keep going. I've never really found anything where I was just like, I'm just going to do this. Comedy's sort of that thing for me. So
Yeah.
if I'm just able to, you know, get on stage on a consistent basis and tell my jokes and tell my stories, and that's all I'd ever gotten to, I'd be happy. I think because from a realistic perspective, if I'm giving comedy the respect it deserves as a craft, if I'm giving the people in front of me the respect they deserve as a craft, it probably requires a lot of things that I'm not willing to do. Right. Like, I don't, like, for me, if I was going to make it, quote unquote, right, it would probably have to be from a video going viral, or it would probably have to be from just like one of those crazy stories that you hear is just like some magic person happened to be there on this particular night, and it's just like a timing thing.
Right.
Because I don't have, like, there's zero chance I'm going to start touring
Right.
and going on the road for fucking $50.
Yeah.
And not seeing my family for, like, that's just not, it's not worth it to me. Like,
Yeah.
I can get the joy from it a couple times a week, you know, local, and have that aspect of it. Now, to get to like where it's like a potential for a career is,
Sure.
you know, do I think,
If it happens, it happens. But you're not gonna.
yeah, that's sort of
Yeah.
where I'm at with it. I just treat it as like, it's finally cool to have something that I enjoy for me. Like, a lot of things I did growing up, a lot of this, like, making up lies, making up nonsense, like being all the things that you're not. In my 30s, spending time to just really becoming introspective, knowing yourself, and doing those pieces, like, it's cool to finally have something where I'm just like, I really like to do this.
And it's for you.
Yeah, and there's never really been anything like that. Like, even athletics, like sports and stuff like that. I like playing like basketball. I like playing those things, but like, I didn't even play football till high school, right? And I started doing that because I was like, this is a better chance to get girls than playing soccer.
Right. So you did it for other.
Yeah,
there's other
always.
reasons.
And my life as kind of a whole has been that way. Like, I always, like, growing up, I try to do my best not to get in real trouble. Like, I was always in the principal's office, or I was class clown.
Right.
Always. Occasionally it was worse than class clown. I got in a lot of fights too. But it was this, like, I never went much more past like a fight or a class clown, or like into like some of the things that my friends did, and not getting in real trouble, because I didn't want to make life more difficult for my grandma. I was like, it's already too hard.
So you're already kind of.
Yeah.
Even if you wanted to do things, you were already kind of standoffish about doing
Well,
it.
it was like if, you know, normal kids, their parents raise them kind of to understand right and wrong, and what to do and what not to do, and all those. Like, that wasn't something that was really brought up in my house, because like right and wrong was such a blurred line.
Right.
Like, what my right and wrong is versus where, like we talked about, my wife's right and wrong are two very different things. Like, mine is survive. As long as you're surviving, that's the right thing.
And you're good.
As you get older, you like realize, oh no, it's important to probably care about other people too.
But that is very interesting too. It's funny you say that, because as you're talking through it, that's the big reason why I started this podcast. It was like, I mean, you've known me for a long time. So, I mean, me just like talking. I just like talking. I like having conversations. I like busting balls. I like debating. I like healthy debate. I like unhealthy debate. I like fights. I just like talking.
Yeah.
And I feel like, because I've had a blog for like 6 years.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so I've been like writing recipes and fitness shit. And
Oh yeah, I do
all
know
that bullshit.
actually.
Yeah. So I've been doing that, but then turns out I about a year ago I found out that all I had to do was just record
That.
stuff and then upload it to the blog, and that's a podcast.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. And I realized that I had to do it, especially with the wife. She was a big inspiration. She helped me out and supported me through it. But I think a big thing was she couldn't handle, because she's the opposite of me. She's very introverted. So I would
Just dump it on her.
I'd be like, hey, did you hear what's happening with climate change? And she's like, whoa, dude.
My poor
chill.
wife, that is exactly what happens to her. She's so good about it, though.
Oh, they
she's
take
like,
it.
really? Like, she's such a good listener.
Dude, they take it. They take it.
It's so good. That's one of the things that tied us together was like,
Oh, yeah.
you don't talk much. This is fucking good.
Right. And that's what's kind of great is, you figure out what you want to do, and you got to find some type of route to get you there. For you, it's comedy. For me, it's this. And
Yep.
I'm kind of the same way. Like, if this, I've even picked up a couple sponsors.
Yeah, dude, that's dope.
But yeah, it's exciting, but I wasn't really expecting that. I just kind of did it so that way my wife wouldn't divorce me. Like, I really just kind of wanted to
An
release. Yeah, an outlet, exactly. And, if it makes it somewhere cool, if I end up getting to 4 million subscribers, great. But if I only have 100 for the rest of my life, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah,
it's just something to get. And I think we all have to find that, whether it's podcasting or being a comedian or, going out and playing basketball at night or being a good father or mother, something. Get an outlet, because I think if we find those hobbies and those outlets, it's less bullshit that we're going to put out into the universe.
Yeah, 100%.
And then, create that negative.
That's a big part of, I have a lot of theories on why things are the way they are. And Usually they tie together. Sometimes it's just complete nonsense.
Yeah, of course.
But I think a big part of like, if you notice, like the people that are offended, it's usually not like the sector of the group that supposedly should be offended.
That's true.
It sounds sexist, but it's usually like women, middle-aged women.
That doesn't sound sexist.
Super, right? I'm really not. But if you just go by what you see, you see the post, the most offended people are always like middle-aged white women.
Right.
And you're just like, oh, you being offended is the technical definition of white privilege.
Right.
Like the fact that you have time to be offended for somebody else is fucking absurd to me.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, what is going on in your life that allots that kind of time?
Right. Yeah.
And so that's like their hobby or their outlet or their joy is being offended.
Is that? Yeah.
And so you just look for shit to be offended by.
Yeah.
It's like, what in the fuck are you doing?
And it doesn't help that once you do that, and then 10 other women are like, or men are like, oh yeah, that's a great idea.
All, you feel validated.
And they latch on to it, and then,
and that's it. And that's all you need. And that's the negative part of the social media, right? Is you can find 100, 1,000. Like it's not even, dude, finding 10,000 people that think like you.
Right. That's crazy.
It's you're still a crazy fuck.
Yeah.
Because 10,000 out of, 3 billion?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but Adolf Hitler had a pretty big following, and he killed more people than anybody in the history of the earth. So there's a lot of crazy people out there.
Stalin killed a lot of motherfuckers too.
Yeah, that's right.
Dude, he killed a lot of people.
Those Italians and Germans back then were fucking savage.
Around, man.
Yeah,
and dude, people sleep, but like you talk about, like that's what I was talking about earlier, is like doxing people or cutting people's speech off. Like that's a perfect, like Hitler's a great example, right?
Yeah.
Like say whatever you want about him. He was a fucking terrible person.
Oh yeah.
But dude, you've never show me another video or another speech, outside like guys like Martin Luther King. You know what I mean? That kind of engagement, like this, that's the kind of engagement he had. Dude, he made people go against human nature.
Right.
Like the propaganda, the build out, his charisma, these things like made normal people do just ungodly things.
Yeah.
Ungodly things. And it's not that difficult.
And we've always had that like team like attitude, because back then they thought they were on the winning team. Those people that followed Hitler, the Nazis, they're like, this makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, no,
for whatever reason.
Yeah, right. The Jews are holding us down. Fuck them. Like, let's do this.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, gas chambers. That makes sense.
Yeah, our country's in shambles, and this all makes sense. You made this make sense to me. Okay, let's do that.
And I think that could.
Fuck.
And we have to be very careful here, because not saying we're on that path by any means, because I don't think it's ever going to get that worse. It could if we allow it to, but
history repeats itself, man.
It does. So I think we have to be careful when we latch on to these people, these crazy people, sane people, doesn't matter. If we latch on to one certain individual without seeing the other side of things, that's where we kind of get squirrely and things get a little funky.
It is. It's a you just look at it and you're like how did this person, like I don't agree with any, like
it's okay
Alex
not
Jones,
to agree.
Alex Jones is hilarious to me. Like, the shit he did, it's nuts, some of the stuff he says. Now, some of it can be backed up and proven. Even the crazy shit, and you're just like, what?
Wait a minute.
Like, okay, so he's saying a lot of real shit? This is crazy.
Yeah.
And a lot of things he says, he gets shut down. You're like, You're like, okay, like you're helping kind of make his case, right? Like, even if everything he says is complete batshit crazy.
Right.
I'm relatively level-headed, sane person that looks at things and goes, both sides, right, as best I can.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people that are like that.
No.
You take the other sector of people and they're like, they fucking shut him down. He was right.
Yeah.
Everything, boom. And then it's just this massive outcry, right? And it's vice versa. That's the other side that's like, yeah, he quieted him down, blah, 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 blah. What did you accomplish?
Right.
Like, what does that accomplish? Not seeing his posts anymore, what has it done?
Yeah.
Like, he said some fucked up shit. Like, you talking about the schools and those being fake, like, I got to be honest, if I was a parent of one of the kids, I probably would have found him. Like, yeah.
Oh, I would have kicked his ass.
Yeah,
sure.
like, no, for real. Like, you've seen those videos going off. I'm like, oh, please come over here.
Yeah.
Because shit's going to not end well for you, buddy.
And again, you're seeing both sides. Like,
yeah.
So now the people that, since he got blocked by social media, now by doing that, now you're making other people angry, the people that are on his side.
Yep.
So now if you're Facebook or Twitter and you're blocking them, now you're 50% of the people.
Yeah.
You're angering them. as opposed to just seeing both sides and saying, hey, listen, we have to make some rules then.
Yeah, I just don't agree with your stupid shit.
Yeah,
And move on.
You shouldn't be banning people. That's crazy.
And don't get me wrong, people shouldn't be doing he shouldn't be saying stupid shit like that either.
Correct. Well, it's like
people
the whole,
shouldn't be hateful either. Like,
so you know the whole Roseanne thing.
yeah,
That was fucking crazy, bro.
it's ridiculous, man. Like, it's
She got fired because of a tweet? Get out of here.
yeah, and I mean, it's one of those things where you're like, like she said, it was they wanted, like,
They wanted to
she
do it
so
right.
didn't fit in, right? Like, she
Right.
did not fit in with the piece. But if you, I mean, they think they went one more season, maybe they got greenlit for one more. But the fuck shows shit after she leaves because she is
Yeah.
who she is.
Yeah.
She's
But
not.
she was always that person.
Yeah, and she's not, dude. She's not hateful,
No.
right? Like, you hear her story, you understand. If you do any kind of digging into who she is as a human and who
Right.
she's always been as a human, she's
always
not a
been the
hateful
same.
human. Has she
Yeah.
always said she said some dumb, insensitive shit? Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, she's done that in the past before too. That doesn't always make you a terrible person, and even if you are bad, but you're trying to fix it, like, right? Because not everybody's
Right.
brain's wired the right way, right? Like, again, we talked about it.
Yeah.
If like the right and wrong was a real blurred line for me growing up, like,
Right.
because I just saw the wrong a lot, like all the things that you see on TV that you're not supposed to do, all the things that you learn in school that you're not supposed to do, all the things that, like, they talk about with, like, the group counsel, like, if this is happening at home, you should talk to us.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I think if I talk to you guys, I'll get the fuck beat out of me at home. Like, I can't just share
Yeah.
this information with you.
Well, and as you get older, it's hard for you as an adult to stop doing the things you've been doing.
Yeah, it's old
So-
habits die really hard.
Right. So
So you look at her, and dude, also, like, you look at there's so much, like, research behind that particular medicine causing people to do dumb shit without remembering too.
oh yeah, Ambien.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like, it sucks, man. But at the
Well,
end of the day, like, all people are doing is continuously getting rid of our best people now. Not
Right.
maybe not our best people in terms of, like, they're great humans,
Right.
but most of the people in history that were interesting, that were good at something, that we enjoy, were all troubled.
Right.
Like, you don't look back at, like, your favorite musician or your favorite artist or your favorite comedian or honestly anything. Even, like, if you want to look back at your history buff, and you look back at your favorite country, your favorite leader, dude, again, we're still in the best place we've ever been in terms
Correct,
of, like,
yeah.
acceptance. And at the end of the day, like, things, old habits die hard. Like, it's not.
We just need to be careful how we're approaching certain situations. I think it's okay, like when that whole Kevin Hart thing with the Oscars.
Yeah,
That was kind of interesting to me because
I didn't hate how he handled that.
I thought he handled
yeah,
it.
was
I thought he
pretty
handled it better than
good. I wish he wouldn't have apologized again, but
a lot. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you know, again, that's what's weird about it. That's what's so interesting is if he didn't apologize as much as he did, he would have got more backlash, which is weird because he shouldn't. I mean, he apologized once. That should be enough.
yeah,
But because they want headlines, people kept prying into it. And I feel like we have to be careful, especially when you're pulling like old tweets and shit like that.
yeah, dude, you're gonna get everybody's gonna be gone.
Yeah, dude, like you got to.
Everybody.
That's crazy.
There's nobody. especially comedian.
I mean, bro,
There's nobody.
like my grandparents.
Oh my god. I
Come
can't
on.
even- dude,
Forget
there's no
about
way.
it. I mean,
Yeah, old Italian people.
Yeah, they thought it was okay for black people not to use the bathroom.
Yeah,
Like if they were
there's-
walking around saying that now. So I get that we have to adapt, but I think we have to give people time to adapt. Like this social media thing's very new. People don't understand that.
Yeah, it blasts a lot of things all at one time.
You got to be careful. I mean, it's kind of weird.
And it's in steps, man. Like it's like
Yeah.
anything else, right? Like I am very much. It's just putting yourself in both shoes. I'm very much for anybody being able to do what they want, so long as they're not hurting somebody that makes them happy. So
Totally.
if you're a man who wants to be a woman, down to the point of you changing your sex, and that makes you happy, fucking awesome, man. Like
Do it up.
I'm genuinely happy for anybody that can find happiness because it's not easy to find, like, genuine happiness. Problem is a lot of those times that they don't find happiness or other pieces. But even aside from that, if I can understand where you're coming from and accept that, like, you also kind of got to look at it and be like, look, this is not normal. Like, well, the term's normal, right? Like what
Right.
we see is normal. It's becoming more and more normal, and people
Sure.
are becoming more and more open. But if you know, the places that it's the least accepted, like the South, Tennessee, North Carolina, these places like Georgia, Alabama, like what Alabama's going through right now, people are just like,
Oh, the whole abortion thing?
yeah, they're like,
Yeah.
men are trying to hold women down. Men are trying to tell what women to do with their body. like, dude, you're wrong. Like, I promise you, the men in Alabama that are doing, like, they don't care in regards to, it's not a, that's a religious thing, man. That's people's putting their religion on stuff. That's not men versus women. Like, they always try to spin things.
It's what they believe in.
Yeah, to be this controversial piece. And if you look at it from, so you look at the one side, it's what were we talking about just before the abortion part?
The outcry, Twitter, Kevin Hart.
Yeah, so like, if we can understand where you're coming from and accept it, you also kind of got to understand and accept where other people are coming from and give them time to understand. Like, it's not like, I don't think, again, I think people are good. I think when people do or say dumb shit, they're not intentionally trying to be hateful or hurtful. I think that they're just maybe dumb. You know what I mean? Or ignorant. Maybe not dumb's not the right word, but ignorant. There's a lot of people in the South.
Yeah.
It's a different world. Like, coming from the West Coast and going to Tennessee, like, and seeing to do different things, dude, there's very few people in Tennessee that are hateful. It's kind of disgusting how nice they were. Freaked me out. But there's also people in Tennessee that are very ignorant to, like, what real life is about, because they're kind of trapped in their small little sector.
Well, if they have certain ways that they've
and
been doing things for so long. I mean, it's just how it is.
And the last way you're going to get to anybody, for the most part, is forcing them on something.
Right.
Like, no one wants to be told what to do.
Well, dude, have you ever ran into somebody that isn't religious? Like, I mean, not necessarily not, like, I mean, me, I'm not, I don't really know, so I don't want to call myself an atheist.
Yeah.
I guess I'm agnostic if I was call myself anything, but
It's kind of a pussy.
Yeah, exactly.
You pick a side, man.
Pick a side. But, it's kind of one of those things where if I run into a Catholic person and a Christian person, to have them have a debate is very interesting.
Yeah.
Because each of them think they're right, and it's like, well, first of all, neither of you really know if you're right. Exactly. So that's step one. But step two is,
they'll fight to the death.
They will fight to the death. And it's so weird to me. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Maybe they're objective with other stuff, but it's like, that's a good example to where I think if we all, if a Catholic person can talk to a Christian person, understand both sides, and be like, hey, if that's what you believe, it might be right.
Yeah,
I might be wrong, but let's just continue on our path without hating each other, and let's go that route.
But it's like if you just agree, you hate, and that's actually like my religious journey was sort of different.
Right.
My family growing up, obviously, they weren't super religious. Like, they believed in God. It was something like that they spoke about believing in God, but not much. And there was definitely didn't live like godly lives.
Right.
But something that was told to me, and I can't remember by who or how I heard it, when I was a kid after my mom died, was like, God will never give you more than you can handle. I have no idea why that phrase
stuck with
me, but it really did.
It's a good phrase.
And as things got worse and at different pieces, when I'm just like, fuck, man, I can't, what the hell? That literally was times where it resonate. And so when I went from the West Coast to Tennessee, halfway through my junior year, I was kind of excited because my family in Tennessee are like hardcore First Baptist, right? Like very, very close relationship with God. My uncle kind of grew, he's my great uncle, he's my grandma's brother. He grew up like I did, came from the West Coast, made his way to Tennessee to actually live with his uncle, and then, made good for himself. Went to pharmacy school, played college football, had a couple pharmacies, and built a good family. And I was like, if he can do that, again, if I can see one person, right, I'm like, I'm going to do that. And so it was awesome to get to go there and kind of see that. But one of the things that I was anticipating or better to understand was religion. I wanted to understand more because I talked about it, and I'd been to some churches, and I had seen a lot of different kinds, and I'm curious by nature, and I'm pretty open-minded for the most part. So I just wanted to understand it better. So I asked a lot of questions, and what I found constantly, the answer being was when they were tired of answering, it was sort of like you were just saying, where it's like, you'll just know about marriage.
Right.
I was like, well, fuck, man. Like, this was all through teenage years, and then as life continued, my oldest, his mom was religious, and his grandma's like the sweetest person on the planet, and she's super religious, and so that helped instill love for God just based on that and him kind of early on. And so I never wanted to play with that, but I was always kind of teetering back and forth until around like, I don't know, again, around that 30 marker. But I checked out a lot of different religions. I checked out Buddhism. I checked out, I've read parts of the Quran. I've read, for the most part, Christianity, like Catholic, all those people, it's pretty much the same.
Yeah. Like I was raised Catholic. I mean, it's
I'm sorry.
No.
You made it out safe? Dude, it's
I
fucking,
survived.
Dude, my wife was raised Catholic too.
Well, the thing is, I just didn't hang out with priests. That was the thing.
Yeah, the fact that religious or not, Boy Scouts, any of that shit, like there's no chance my son's ever just going to hang out with people on a regular basis,
Especially a
by
dude.
himself. I was like, yeah, it's just fucking stupid. I'm not doing it. Like,
Well, it's like
it's almost the parents' fault.
it's like, not to get off the religious topic because that's always a fun one, but like I just watched Finding or Leaving Netherland or
Oh yeah,
Neverland.
I haven't seen it.
So it's great because you see all this footage, and it's literally, I would probably say 95% of the footage is the parents are just agreeing to give their child to a person.
Yeah.
And this is also a person that, and I love MJ to death. I think he's a genius. But, you know, no one really knows what happened except for the people. There's always two sides. And
Sure.
of course, he's out with us, so he can't defend himself. But
Yep.
no matter what, you shouldn't be.
No, you shouldn't be alone with kids. Like, it's,
Like, and there's Catholic issues that are going on right now. There's priests
forever.
every day.
forever.
So at this point, I don't think there's an excuse to leave your kid with a priest.
You would think. You would think. My
We know a lot now, right? Like,
dude, I'm not.
you know, I'm not.
I'm not doing it. My wife was raised Catholic, and we want to get our son baptized. It's kind of something that she wants to do. And
Sure.
I'm a little more. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
She's like, do you mind if we do it in the Catholic church? I was like, no, we're not doing that. Like, just she was like, really? I'm like,
I'm not hanging out there.
Like, no, I'm not giving any kind of support to that. Like, there's
Yeah.
just, it's been too much, right?
Right.
Like, it's too many.
Yeah.
And you know, through like searching and all those different things, like I finally decided, I was like, he ain't real. Like I took the hard stand.
Really?
I was like, yeah, no, this
So
ain't
you
real.
picked a side for sure.
Yeah, because people were
Yeah.
like, you'll know. And
I haven't figured it out yet.
well, here's the thing. While doing that was sort of like like I've always told you, I had like this crazy luck. It's good, and then just fucking the worst.
Yeah.
I just started having the worst. Like that's when Xavier went to live with his mom. That's when I lost my
Yeah.
car. That's when I was living in the crack house. Like I started interviewing with Groupon. I was like sitting on my bed.
It's like rock bottom.
Yeah, no, it was 100%. It
Yeah.
was pretty close. I'd say rock bottom was what I talked to you about upstairs, but
Yeah.
this was pretty close. And by bed I mean like mattress on the floor. And I was like, what is different, man? Like I'm working hard, like keeping my attitude really, like considering the situation, like I'm doing pretty good there.
Yeah.
All these things. And then, dude, it was literally like an auditorial. Like I heard it. And it was just like, hey, dum-dum. I was like, oh, shit. And I started praying like immediately.
Really?
And I know how crazy it sounds. Like I know those pieces.
No.
But for me, it was like that experience where you're just like, oh, you'll know. Okay, well, now I know. And whether that's like whether it was like self-manifested through my brain, whatever it may be, there's like kind of all different kinds. Like I don't hold tight to the religion, and I get in arguments with people that are religious because they'll try to defend the Bible to the T and they'll try to back it up with different shit. I'm like, yeah, there's probably there's real stuff in there, but there's also, it was written by man, also it was translated, also it was these different things. And then kind of my theory on it, I was talking to my uncle, and after, you know, understanding different religions and kind of talking to people in different religions and hearing, you know, what they were about and what they felt and why they picked it and different things, because I've had a lot of those conversations because I just don't care to ask it, and
Right.
I don't care to talk about whatever. You kind of think about it, and they say, you know, if God exists or the universe or whatever, right? He's supposed to be like so omnipotent. Like there's just zero chance of fathoming. It's like us trying to fathom the universe. Like, yeah,
Right.
we see it. It's big, but the reality of fathoming what all of that is just not comprehensible by us. Not
Right.
yet anyway. Maybe
Yeah,
as
yeah.
we evolve, it'll become better.
Well, it's like an ant is not thinking about how bad the traffic is.
Yeah, that's exactly it,
Like
right?
he doesn't know.
He doesn't even notice
Yeah.
our foot, man. He's
Yeah.
just trying to climb over. He thinks it's a fucking tree. We don't exist in his
Yeah.
world.
But what's really wild to me is the fact that people are so. I think religion is fantastic. I really do.
It could do a lot of good for people.
A lot of good. I just
It
don't.
must be bad.
I think we're so, like a lot of things, we're just so, like you said, ignorant to the fact of whatever my religion is, that's it. That's
Yeah.
that's the part that bothers me.
And that's, dude, and religion's the ultimate that's it, right? Because depending on the religion, there's like some, well, not even depending on the religion, like any religion, like if you astray from what that religion is, it's dire effects, right? Like you're going to go to hell, or if they don't believe in hell, like it's bad. Like there's real consequences
There's
in your
different-
mind, right?
yeah.
Like this, so they hold that hard line. But from looking at it from outside, where you're just trying to find and you're looking and you're really, accepting and understanding of kind of where people are coming from and hearing them, my thought was, all right, so we can't fathom God. He's this omnipotent thing, and he's way better than we'll ever be, right? Like in terms of like loving, caring, all these things.
Right.
So, in terms of all the major religions, really the only differences for the most part are the messenger, the Messiah, or not the messenger, Messiah, not the same, the prophet. Excuse me. In Judaism, it's
of the world,
Moses,
yeah.
and in Christianity, it's Jesus. We, as Christians, you believe that he's God's son and he died for you, and that's sort of how you're taken into heaven. You know that part.
Yeah.
But to the Muslims actually talk about Jesus because the Quran was written after. The Jews believe in Jesus, but they just think that he wasn't. He was just like a Jewish guy who just
regular
wanted to
guy.
keep in.
Yeah.
So for the most part, they believe he's a messenger.
Right.
And then
Which might be the most believable.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. That's the most. And then you look at Muhammad, same thing, right? Muhammad was the messenger for Allah. Allah, yeah, the Jewish God, Christian God, it's all the same God. And they believe that it's all the same God. They just believe that there's different rules to live by based on the messenger that was given to him. And my brain is, if this guy is, God is so omnipotent, can do all these, doesn't it make sense that he would create these religions in a way that he could communicate and relate to who he's trying to communicate and relate to, right? Like, if you think about religion, a lot of it, it's almost regional, right? Like it's by the country, like it's different parts that you are.
Oh, that's
So-
interesting.
So if they just,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I kind of look at it like that as like, maybe no one's wrong, right? Like,
Yeah.
why does someone have to be wrong? Like I get that your Bible says that he can only be, but the biggest wrong thing is there can only be one God. None of that's changing. But
Yeah.
that's all still one God, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
The only real like major religion that believes outside of like the one true God or what people call the one true God would be Hinduism.
Right.
And then also like Buddhism is you kind of believe that it's within yourself and you kind of chant and that's what
Yeah.
releases.
No, that's a very interesting point. Maybe he did all that just because he wanted to see how we would react, and obviously we have reacted horribly.
Yeah, I mean, who knows the
but-
expectations, right? Like
Right,
maybe
yeah.
in his world it's like, yeah, it's not so bad.
Like maybe he really did just create two people, and maybe evolution isn't a thing. And then maybe he's like, after it got to like 1,000, he's
Yeah.
like, whoa, hold on. All right, we need to do an ice age because this shit sucks.
Let's pump the brakes a little bit and try to reset.
Maybe he keeps resetting. I don't
And
know.
there's multiple times it's happened throughout history. Like
Right.
you look at some of those new studies they're talking about where they look and like you thought the oldest civilization was like Sumer or whatever,
Samaria.
and now they're finding that those old ass shit
like
in
shit.
Mexico and stuff like that. You're just like,
Yeah.
dude, that shit's so interesting to me. It's
Well, now
just
they
like-
found that shit in the Amazon. Did you hear about that?
yeah, like all the different thing like through the sonar or whatever.
Well, because now
it's
they're
like massive cities.
yeah. So like apparently there's companies that are just going in and trying to create like coffee factories, and they're taking down the Amazon. I was talking about this on my last podcast that obviously they're taking down the one thing that creates oxygen for us. And this is the most lush forest in the world.
Yeah,
and they started taking it down just to make these factories, and then they're realizing, wait a minute, there's like buildings
yeah,
underneath all these trees.
it's crazy.
So now they're starting to bring archaeologists and stuff like that.
Dude, it'd be dope if that's
crazy.
kind of what saves it too, right? Because it's like once you find stuff like that, like
The world changes.
the world
Yeah.
notices, and then it starts like, nah, you can't just be cutting this shit down, homie.
Right.
Like, what is all this old shit? We need to
Yeah.
understand what this is going on.
Well, it's like it's how we lived before we knew there was dinosaurs.
Right. It's,
Like could you imagine the people before us where they just went around their life just knowing everything was cool,
or
and
they heard of dinosaurs and it was a theory, but they never found any bones, and then you find the bone, you're like, oh.
and now everything you believe just went out the window. You're
Yeah.
like, fuck.
Which is all done again anyway. Like even how
Happens all the
dinosaurs are what we thought, what they really are according now to theory is
Have changed.
something completely different.
Like Spielberg got it completely wrong.
Yeah, but his is awesome.
It was great.
That's way scarier than like birds running around. At least for most people. I'm terrified of birds personally, but for most people that's gonna.
Like real dinosaurs apparently were like covered in feathers like
Yeah.
mammoths.
Yeah,
Like that's not cool.
like that's not scary at all.
That wouldn't be good.
It's like,
CGI.
oh hey, pretty bird. Oh God, no, not like this. Like I can't. Can you imagine just running for your life every fucking morning?
Every morning.
Well, think about what people went through before us. Like not even that. Like running water isn't even that old, dude.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like sliced bread. Well, Betty White is older than sliced bread. That's a fucking real. That's real.
That's fact. Yeah.
Dude, there's living humans that are older than sliced bread.
Yeah.
And we complain about what we have going on right now.
It's nuts.
It's fucking crazy to me, man.
Well, dude, not only that, but think about where we're at. Like you just said it, where we were running for our lives.
Yeah.
I think that was worse than what we're living in now.
Yeah.
So what
for
are people
sure.
complaining about? Like, stop it.
It's because there's too much time in past, even 20 years ago. 20 years ago, you didn't have anything remotely close to what we have. And think about 20 years ago, I was 17. Yeah. That feels pretty old, right? Like that was before cell phones were pretty regular. Like my high school, maybe some of the rich kids had a cell phone.
Yeah.
But for the most part, no one had a cell phone. I graduated in 2000.
And even still, there were those block Nextel.
Yeah. So if you just look at the world from when I graduated high school to when my son's going to graduate high school in 3 years, 2022. Jesus, dude.
Nuts.
Like it's not exactly what we thought, right? We're not flying cars yet, but
We're pretty close.
there's a lot of shit though that we didn't even think of
Yeah.
that we can do. Like
Well, and I think we also have gotten so smart that we're at the point where we realize that flying cars doesn't make sense.
yeah, because they were talking about it. I was listening to Rogan, his last one. He had what did he just have on? Fucking.
I'm like a week and a half behind.
Oh, dude, it happens sometimes.
No spoiler alert.
This was just dude, Wiz Khalifa.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I didn't see that. That looked good.
He said we'll do Wiz Khalifa. Well, it was a pretty good episode, but they talk about like just how different things were just not even that long ago, and kind of where we're at now, and it's just so much better. But everything has just gotten easier and easier.
Yeah.
So now people have it's in our DNA.
Right.
To potentially run from predators. It's in our DNA to be a hunter. It's in our DNA to be a gatherer. It's in our DNA to be what humans are. We're pack animals. We're pack creatures. It's you're aligned to small amounts of people. We crave human interaction.
Yeah.
Like think about even when you don't want to do something, right? Like you don't want to go see your friend or whatever. That's like running jokes now. And I'm king of it, dude, especially smoking weed. Like it's sort of my barometer. Like if I smoke and I still want to go do it, I'm like, all right, this is totally something I want to do.
Right.
But you'll build it up in your head and you're just like, fuck. And then you go do that and you see that person and you know what I mean? Like today is
Snaps.
And you're just like, fuck, man, I'm so glad I did that.
Oh yeah, dude.
And then but you'll fall right back into it the next time.
Oh,
Like
for
I don't
sure.
want to do that. And it's because we've now have these lives that are curated for us where we can learn and see and sort of we think that we're getting that interaction that we crave as a human,
Yes.
but we're not. We're getting it's fake. And it's not real. And so there's less real human interaction. There's less real like even just love, as crazy as that sounds.
No, dude.
People are losing that. And
It's
I think that's fucking people up, man.
Oh, dude, it's such a good point too. And not only that, but also like you said with what's in our DNA. I think we have to. That's why people have to figure out not just hobbies to do and interact with friends, but also
Stay busy, man.
Stay busy, stay active. Because I think once you get the big reason, if you notice, there was one episode I was listening to of Rogan. Obviously, we both listen to Rogan, which is great.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, he's the man. But he had this one psychiatrist on. He was talking about depression, how bad it's been, and the argument is because of social media. But really, there's a strong argument, maybe stronger than social media, is the fact that social media is really cool when you have that option to be on your phone all the time and sitting at home doing nothing. But people are choosing to do that.
Yeah.
And that's the depression, is when you're at home. It's like people in Seattle have the most.
So suicide rate.
Yeah,
But
before
it's
phones,
miserable.
it was still the highest suicide rate.
Yeah,
because people get stuck at home because it
gloomy
rains
as hell, man.
and it's gloomy, and that's what happens when you're home. So you have to get out, whether it's going for a walk or instead of like going grocery shopping, like there's a Publix right here.
Yeah.
So sometimes we'll just get out and walk to get our groceries.
Yeah, and it's something simple, but
Right. But it gets us out to get vitamin D up in you, and it's just really good for you.
and dude, you're one of those people that's really good at it, right? Like making yourself. I'd be an example of one of those people who knows that's something and still doesn't do it as much as he needs to until I get in the groove. So like
Right.
again, I get why people don't do it because you don't feel like you need it. You just feel like I'm kind of depressed, or I'm getting what I need here. I'm having fun, online, or I'm doing whatever, and you don't realize why what's happening is what's happening.
And then also you mix in like having fun, like doing drugs and drinking.
Yeah, man. Like,
And then the next day, are you going to do anything? Of course
there's
not.
no way, man.
You're going to sit at home and you're going to be hungover.
Yeah, it's
and-
gonna be it's the worst.
Yeah,
like,
so-
especially now, like, fuck, dude, I
dude, once
don't drink anymore, really though. But
30's definitely the number, because once I hit 30, like we even did an episode,
hurts.
me and the wife did it, where it was, I forget what we called it, but it was like, I think it was called Hangovers After 30. And we went
think I
fucking
saw it.
hard.
Oh.
Like harder than I have like in 6 years probably.
No bueno.
And we went so hard, like the first time I threw up in like 6 years, like really hard. And then the next day, even 3 Pedialytes later, and it still wasn't doing anything. And we looked at each other, we're like, when I was 21, I went to work.
yeah,
Like I hit the field afterwards.
it's
Like
easy.
I was good.
I say that, but I was never the guy who could go out drinking and then just go to work the next day.
Maybe you weren't productive, but you went. You showed up.
No, I called in a lot of times. I got fired from a lot of places for that exact reason.
That's hysterical.
I've had a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
Because I've always looked at it like a job.
Right.
You know, like I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, yeah,
This is just a tool to give me money to do whatever I want. Like,
Right.
If I didn't have Xavier at 21, like my life would have been sort of along the lines of like work 6 months, go do whatever. For like I just don't care about shit really.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
But
the
he
shit I
helped
do
you,
ca-
though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What he did was make me care about. Like it's not wrong to care about things. It's not wrong not to care about, right? Like you can be that guy. Like there's a place for that person as long as it doesn't affecting somebody else.
Totally. Yeah.
But for me, if I was going to be that guy and have a kid, like that's not okay, right? Like that's where the problem lies, is because he didn't ask to be here. It's not his responsibility.
And it's
yours.
not fair to him that-
Yeah, it's yours, and so that's why it's you gotta make that switch. But if I didn't, man, I'm happy with fucking not doing too much and not like doing like I am. So you have to make yourself like
Yeah.
get out of that piece, because it's like it's so easy now.
Yeah.
It's just so easy to play video games. It's so easy to
Well, when I
live
think
on your phone.
Yeah, and I think kind of a good close, because I didn't. Bro,
Yeah.
we're at like 3+ hours.
Jesus Christ, dude, we pulled a Joe Rogan.
It's fucking insane, dude.
That is pretty nuts.
I might make this like 3 episodes.
Hey, man.
This is legit. No, this was cool. But I think
We mesh well.
Yeah, but I think a good point was you could do whatever. If sitting on your ass and not doing anything is fine. If you don't want to give anything to society, there's nothing wrong with that. But just don't.
Don't take.
Yeah, don't take.
Or don't be cunty about it.
Don't be cunty.
Like, don't judge me
Yeah.
while you're sitting there doing nothing.
Because, dude, there's a lot of fuckery going on with people that are just complete slobs, and then
Bro.
those are the guys that are on Twitter
The
bad
worst.
mouthing, and yeah, it's
That's
just-
kind of my new favorite thing to do. Occasionally, it's never with people I follow. I don't want it in my face all the time.
right.
But sometimes I go looking for drama.
Of course,
I can't fight anymore, dude.
Yeah.
And I grew up like
it's fun.
I grew up with drama. Like there's something too. Like I grew up in drama. Like I crave chaos at times, and if I don't,
It's part of your DNA.
yeah, if I don't fix it, like maybe through the phone or through whatever, like
Right.
it'll manifest into let me not work for a while, get
Yeah.
behind in my sales goal, to then get in trouble and get my back against the wall so I can perform.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's not good either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I have to find that middle ground.
Well, dude, and I know you're probably gonna make a point, but as
No,
you
please.
as you said that, it just made me think, because we were talking about like hunter gatherer stuff like that,
Yep.
and that's drama, right? Like that's stress induced.
Yeah.
Maybe we use our phone to find that.
That stress. Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because
'Cause we
where
don't-
else?
We don't have it anymore, right? Like,
Yeah.
Not many people are worried about getting food.
Yeah.
And the people that are worried about getting food, I promise you, aren't offended by anybody saying anything that doesn't involve them.
No.
All they care about is getting food.
Yeah.
That's the problem. That's why people are offended, is because
Right.
we are fortunate enough to live in a place that allows you to be allowed to be offended.
Yeah.
This is the first time in history that's even an option.
Yeah. You can actually do it.
You know what I mean? Like there was times in history where you're not getting offended. There was like real hellacious shit going on.
Yeah, dude. This is nothing.
There was people fighting for their right to be able to do anything. There was not even just like black people or people of color or like women, just women, like no one. Like
Yeah.
it was like if you weren't white and a dude for a long time, shit wasn't cool. Like Louis C.K. talks about it, right? Like time travel for us is not so bad.
Oh yeah.
It's like the future's probably gonna suck.
Yeah.
We're pretty close to that future, man. There's some.
Oh, we're getting there.
There's some of that peace, and like while I don't like, I don't like it. Obviously, no one wants to be like put into a group and categorized as something that you're not.
Right.
But I'm not crying about it, dude, because it's
Yeah.
still like it's not difficult being a white dude, and I can't imagine. Like I have my best friend. we talked about it before, but like I remember in high school going to pick up a date for him because the parents wouldn't let her date a black guy. Like,
Oh yeah.
that's something I'll never understand or never even feel, like to genuinely feel like you're less than somebody based on the color of your skin. So
Yeah.
like it's good. There's positives in us growing and becoming better. And the offended thing is kind of a joke because it goes too far, right? It's a pendulum.
Totally.
The problem is that when they if you take it, here, that pendulum's going to swing back way far the other way. And so it's taking people that were kind of like slowly starting to get on board, right? Like it was like before it was nothing. And now like just, racially people were becoming way more sensitive. People were accepting, of people in their lifestyles, whether it be gay or lesbian, whatever it may be. Like people were starting to really do their best, right?
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
some people that are just, they're never going to suck. They're never going to be good.
Compared to 50 years ago,
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
it's crazy. And then it's
a
like
different level.
it's like that grasp hold, and it's like, okay, now you're gonna eat this, and now you're gonna eat this, and now you're gonna eat this, and now you're gonna eat this. And this person's like, dude, I don't like broccoli, man. I'm trying broccoli to do you a favor. Like I've tried broccoli before and I know I don't like it.
Yeah.
Please stop shoving it down my throat.
Yeah.
And then eventually they're gonna be like, fuck you and your broccoli.
Right.
And so it takes there's people to that side. Are
Yeah.
those people right? No, man. No. Like it shouldn't come down to a point. Like you shouldn't have that kind of hate in your heart. But is the other side right too? Like, no, because you hate people too. You just hate them for a different reason. And to me, it's almost sometimes worse. It's like disingenuous because maybe you don't even hate them. Maybe you think the same way as the other one, but you shouldn't think that way. And so like I find the people that I think that are grandstanding the most, the ones that like unprovoked make the comments or unprovoked make weird posts, and you're just like, dude, what are you trying to hide? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
That does protest too much,
Yeah, they're trying to find.
and it kind of brings it back to that the culture that we live in now is like it's you're rewarded for being whatever. So it's like grandstanding. Like I saw dude, the most drama ever is in the Orlando, like has a comedy Facebook. It's like a private group.
Right.
Oh, it's fucking comedy, man. Dude, comedians are miserable fucks.
Yeah, dude, I bet.
Oh my God, the shit that goes on in these chats, like, it's fucking crazy. You'll just have people going off on each other, like, fuck you, you're new, you're a piece of shit, you don't know shit, and they'll start trashing each other.
Damn.
And then you'll have, like, people that go on, like, a stand, so they'll be like, I saw one yesterday, like, this whole, like, dude, like, 200 comments in, like, a thread.
Yeah.
And then this one dude's like doing something, and then this chick out of nowhere just posts like a post he posted in the thread that was like, what did he say? It was fucking real stupid. Like, he was like, no man is going to wear a condom unless he's told to. So if a woman gets pregnant, it's 100% her fault. Gotta be honest, buddy. That's a weird horse to die on.
Yeah.
Like that sounds stupid. And
That's tough.
again, it's context, right? He responds, he's like, dude, that was meant to be 100% a joke. It very well could be.
Right.
Or you could have got called out on it and now you're trying to say that. It's too hard to like
Yeah.
make that from a text, right? But
Yeah.
they go in on this whole thread. And then you'll see like the 3 or 4 guys where it's just like they go too hard on the
Right.
other side. We're just like, dude, this is like Joe Rogan's like, this is just your way to try to get laid.
Yeah,
Like that's it. Like
Yeah.
you've now from you realize you're not an alpha, you're not any of those things. Like you're the beta. You're the guy like creeping in behind the line as he's sleeping, trying to fuck the other ones. Like,
Right.
This is just your way. Like if that's how you believe, that's how you believe. I get it. Because I believe that way.
Yeah.
I believe everybody should have the right to, again, like I said, do what they want if they're not hurting anybody. And I think that we're in the progress. Like comedy should be funny. It shouldn't be meant to hurt people, right? If you're telling jokes or you're saying shitty things to hurt people, that's stupid. Or if you're saying shitty things to be funny to a specific group of people that you know is laughing at, like that's where it comes.
Right.
Where I hear a lot of comedians kind of taking the line now in terms of understanding, is that some of us don't want to. It's not that we're scared to say something or that we don't want the drama behind it or any of those things. It's like you don't want to offend people. Like, and if we know now, we're becoming more educated. It's like,
Yeah.
I could tell this joke and make it funny, and it should be funny for this reason.
Right.
But I hear people in the crowd laughing for this reason. That sucks.
Yeah, but is that your problem though?
It's not your problem, but if we treated everything that way, like whatever gets done, right? Like
Yeah.
it's the same. That's like the same concept with like what's going on with the planet.
Sure.
I mean, at the end of the day, like Is me recycling really going to do too much? Is it really my problem? Nah, I'm going to be dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
That's
really,
true. Yeah.
It really isn't. So I think at some point it has to be certain people's problem.
Right.
You know, there's certain people's responsibility.
Well,
Look
I
at a
always,
guy like Joe Rogan, he's necessary, man. He's super needed right
For
now.
sure.
There's a reason his following is as big as it is.
Yeah.
There's
What we
certain-
need, what we need is the 4 million people that tune into him every single day
Yeah.
need to act just like him. Not,
Yeah.
of course, you can agree with some stuff and that's fine. But just his overall, the meat and potatoes. If you put his resume on, if you believe in some similar characteristics, I've been ever since I got married in particular. But when I got out of the business and I moved back home and I really decided to get my life together, probably about 7 years ago, and I've been living off this thing that I've been preaching a lot, which is the cul-de-sac method. And I don't know if I invented it, but I just say cul-de-sac because I grew up in a cul-de-sac. And the community in a cul-de-sac is very different than
like a street.
Totally. And if we can just get kind of back to that,
Yeah.
where, if you're my neighbor, and not physically neighbor,
Yep.
but we're friends, and if I treat you good, and then I treat this guy good, I'm
And
doing
they
my
do the
part.
same.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
doing my part. That's it. I don't need to treat everyone good. I
Yeah.
don't need to, you know what I mean?
100%.
If I can just impact you two, and you can impact two people, you can, and so on and so forth. We kind of treat everything kind of like a cul-de-sac, a community. I think the problem is we try to impress so many people that we don't know, and it's affecting kind of who we are as a core.
Yeah, people.
And you're not really you.
Yeah,
just worry about yourself.
I agree.
Yeah.
But there are some, like, I'm the type of person that I genuinely do worry about a lot of other people besides, and I've always, like we talked about earlier,
Sure.
like I've kind of always done. It's who I am. It's honestly in my nature, just kind of how I grew up. Like,
Absolutely.
when you've experienced a bunch of shit,
Oh, yeah.
it's just so easy to get to the place where you can put yourself, like, I'm never going to be able to know what it feels like to be judged by the color of my skin for the most part, right? Like, actually, that's not true. I've been judged for the color of my skin. I went to an all-black school.
Right.
But it's a very different kind of judging, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But for the most part, I can put myself into a bad situation, at least kind of get there and be empathetic, because I've had a lot of shit happen. So I do think about things as a whole. Like, I try to think about, potentially the impact of people on it. It sounds cliche, but part of the reason, like, from comedy, I've always felt I have some level of a calling to impact people in some way, right? To where they're
Totally. Yeah.
I always kind of looked at it as like, maybe I'm supposed to, be a coach or impact youth or whatever. But as I get older, as I get better at just in what my craft is, and my craft is not just comedy, but just through the business, through whatever,
Right.
I've curated this
Bring value.
ability to communicate and understand people. Like,
Totally. Yeah.
it's just, I think in some circumstances it's a lost art. But for me to go through all the stuff I've gone through, to get to the place that I'm at, like, I just feel like it's too easy for me to be like, I'm just going to live my life, right? Like, it's just like,
And not impact anybody.
yeah, I can do that. And when I try to do that, it never feels right. Like, it never feels good.
Right. It's not you.
Yeah, and so
it's not you.
and that's where I'm kind of at. And if that's something that you feel, I think that you should probably go towards that. It's difficult though, right? Like,
Yeah.
because he's like, one, you don't, like, who the fuck am I, right? Like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's the first, like, that's the biggest part of it. And that's the one thing that's positive about today's generation is those people. Today's generation doesn't give a shit. Like, they all think they're the shit.
Right,
And
yeah.
that's how we get these funny ass videos, and that's how we've gotten some new stuff. I mean, there's some positives in that.
Yeah.
Like, I look at my son. He does, like, YouTube videos. He does, like, sneaker tutorials. I'm like a sneakerhead.
Oh, that's cool.
And he does these videos with his friend. These are Travis Scott's. I actually got them released. Like, they're worth like $850, like, immediately after.
Oh, shit.
Stupid.
You're going to get jumped when you walk out of here, bro.
Nah, man.
I know people.
I wear them. Just wear them up, run. It's this it's just a different world, dude. Like, so there's positives to it. There's negatives to
No,
it.
it is, yeah.
There's so
What-
many different things. I just think if we can all, as much as everything annoys, right? Like, there's so much annoying crybaby shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really, really, like, it irks me to the point, like, it's very easy to sit back and talk about it and in hindsight and in perspective and be like, I get it where they're coming from. But in the moments when you're having these arguments with these people or when you're trying to like understand, you're just like, this is so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like, you should be better than, like, I shouldn't have to think about, like, this is such common sense. It's just not common anymore.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get to that place. Like what you were saying, like, is it your responsibility though? Nah, no, it isn't. And to get to that place is difficult, right?
Yeah.
Like, and there are some comedians that don't do it. There's people that aren't, will never go that route.
Sure.
And there's some comedians that will go too far the other way in terms of like, you're just changing who you are in your comedy. It's like, nah.
Yeah.
But
Well, I think there's two types of people, just keeping it with the comedy aspect. I think there's two types of comedians. Obviously, this is a very narrow minded thinking, but just as an example, there's a comedian that is a comedian because he likes being a comedian.
Yeah.
No other reason. He doesn't care about the laugh. He doesn't care about fame, money, fortune. He just likes being a comedian.
Most. I think.
Then there's the other one, which is a comedian because he really loves making people laugh. To me, those people are the exact same person. They're bringing value and they're doing what they love. And I think if everyone had that mindset with everything they do, not just being a comedian, but you're not wrong either way, because one of them is very selfish.
Yeah.
But they're both right, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think
at the end of the day, a lot of times they're getting the same outcome. And that's sort of like the crazy part is people get so bent up, like religious or anything else, is you get so crazy, you fight about all this stuff. And at the end of the day, dude, it's just like, you're so close to being the exact fucking same.
Yeah.
Like people are all the same with the same fucking species. It sounds cliche as hell, but at the end of the day,
we're all from Africa.
Yeah, dude, we literally all came from the same place.
Yeah.
The differences that you see in us are just like any other animal.
Right.
It's dictated by our environment, and we were adapted to our environment.
Yeah.
If you have less pigment in your skin, you didn't fucking need it. If you have
Right.
more pigment in the skin, you needed it.
Yeah.
And it's it.
That's it.
Like, it's it. Everything else is contrived and man-made.
And you know what?
Every other piece of it.
In 200 years, those people are going to look totally different than us.
Oh, bro, can you even imagine?
Like-
Like, think about what we think about people just even 100 years ago with slavery and shit like that, and how ridiculous it is.
Well, even just look at the photos. Like, you look at these photos and you're like,
get the fuck out of
these
here.
people were so angry they didn't smile in photos.
Yeah.
No, it's just because they didn't know what the fuck a
Yeah,
camera was. Like,
exactly. Are they still in my soul? What's happening? Right,
exactly.
They got to stand there for 45 minutes.
So,
it's hard to hold a smile that long.
I think if you're listening to this podcast and you're going to take anything from this podcast, this is probably a good message, what you just said, which is we're all the same. Let's just treat each other with kindness, and let's do what we like to do.
Yeah.
Let's hopefully bring value from people. And I don't know, man, it was the longest podcast, but this was a good fucking time.
Dude, it was my first one. I had a good time. I like it.
Yeah, you're a cool
I'm gonna
motherfucker.
catch a bug, man. Thank you, Tony. Shit,
miss you,
I'm
bro.
gonna knock the mic over you too, man.
Miss you. So let's do this. Let's shout out your Instagram.
Yeah,
you got any-
Instagram's Morgan the Adequate. I don't know how to spell adequate without looking at my phone.
Morgan and then
Just the word adequate.
It'll pop
You'll
up.
figure it, right?
You'll be popular enough.
Social Facebook is just Chris Morgan. But there's
Chris
so many
Morgan.
people. Good luck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Do that on
it's-
purpose.
I need to get better.
Yeah.
At promoting some of that stuff. Like, it's
Totally.
still for me, like the comedy standpoint. It's like,
Yeah.
just enjoying getting up, posting it here and there, and then
Yeah.
it's nice, hear people like, oh, that's good. You're like,
Well, dude, I
thanks.
definitely, I mean, if you're into it, if you want to take it seriously, I'm definitely into, we'll kind of talk about how to, make some videos
Yeah.
and throw some stuff out. Because I think even just like little clips and snippets and stuff, just putting that stuff out there, letting people know, I think it's huge.
Yeah, I agree. Dude.
Yeah.
I'll take it up. I can't. Plus, dude, I've been trying to like do the podcast thing for a minute or whatever.
Oh, dude, you should do it for
So I
sure.
can sit at my desk and talk
Bro,
to myself.
you know what? Hold on.
Might actually save my marriage. Nah, my marriage is in a good place, but it'll make my wife happier.
All right, so this is what we're going to do, just as a, because I believe in the craft so much. So this is a mic. It's a lavalier mic.
Oh,
You hook it up
shit.
to your phone,
Oh no, shit.
start your first podcast.
Thanks, player.
Because that's the exact same one that I
you
used
started with.
a year ago.
I dig it.
And you just plug it in your phone, record shit, and then just upload it. And I'll show you how to do all that bullshit. It's easy.
Okay.
Done. Start a podcast.
Appreciate that, my man.
And maybe I'll be your first guest.
Hell yeah. I think you have to be,
My dude.
right?
All right,
Keep
cool.
it limited to guests.
That's right. All right, guys, go follow my man, Chris Morgan. Chris, thanks for being on, bro.
Tony, thank you.
All right, bro. Peace. Later, everybody.